Hello. How are we doing today? Let's get it. Oh, bro, I hate that. New co-op horror experience. Looks a little bit like Leon. Did we already pull the Borderlands 4 review? I don't think we did we?
Oh, could it be?
Hour ago. Very nice. Close that. Open this. Oh shit, it's Nigel. How's it going, Nigel?
We're inspired by Lego bricks. We always have been. I think we were with Builder's Journey, and we are with this as well. We like the shape of them, the way they are configuring, the way they sit together. It's just exciting to us. So that's where it all starts. Looking at a brick and saying, what can we do with this? How can we give players an experience of playing with Lego bricks in a new and interesting way?
Weird. Well, I hope it's a good mic at least. I don't know, but if you heard about Charlie Kirk being shot and killed yesterday on stage, and also NATO might have to step in, bro. We might be going to World War III because Russia, I believe, bombed NATO, Poland, and NATO is calling to arms
The idea for the
against Russia.
main mechanic of Lego Voyages started with me just thinking, if you're just
Also, Donald Trump is sending in the U.S. Marines into LA and Chicago. There's a lot going on right now, man. It's kind of
one
crazy.
brick, how do you navigate the world? How do you interact physically with the digital Lego brick? The first idea was what is in the game now. You hold a direction and the Lego brick tumbles in that direction.
That's really
so it just
fun.
rolls along.
This looks like a really fun game.
So when we do the playtest, we see them live and the developers also watch. So we would actually just watch people play, and even from that we would get some unexpected things. The playtesting or the user testing is about learning about the game and see how we can make it better and more enjoyable for the players.
Yeah.
When you make something, you know it very well. So you need someone to come and tell you, oh, this doesn't make sense, and maybe you should make it more understandable. And here it just makes sense to involve the people who in the end is hopefully gonna play the game.
And Lightbrick is very unique in this way to test that much. It's not that's not the norm in the gaming industry with a studio this size to test that much, and it's great.
I remember when Karsten came to my studio at some point and he talked about this idea. He said,
This is an absolutely magical game. I don't say that too often. This game is very inspirational. I don't know why, but I just felt the need to say that. I feel like the developers of this game made a very heartwarming game.
Do you remember from your childhood when you had like a best
And that's exactly what I was thinking whenever I would watching the very first few seconds of this clip, of this video. Every time I see the little 1x1 with the little eye on it, I always think of the big boxes that I had gotten whenever I was a kid. That's what, like, Legos is what, like, kept me afloat most of my childhood. Because I didn't have TV or power for the most part. I had my Legos. I had a big ass box of Legos that I had just acquired over time. So, like, whenever I first saw the little 1x1 that had little eyes on it as the characters, I was like, oh my god, that
friend,
takes me back.
and you shared a dream, and you were so close together, and then maybe after summer vacation or something, you realized that you were slowly drifting apart from each other. That sparked many of the initial ideas actually to the soundtrack, and I think the idea of having two main characters so minimalistic, only 1x1 bricks, that was a really bold choice, I think. But it also gave me as a composer a big responsibility to put some emotions in those characters. I think it was really fun to write melodies that were attached to the characters and to make the player feel something, and I'm really happy with the result, I must say.
It's fun to put on a narrative and a fictional universe on top of that to sort of turn them into characters, even though they're just bricks, right? They are like two little brick friends
With one eye.
with one eye, and they dream about space. They dream about being astronauts.
Oh, look at their little chairs. That's adorable. Oh man, we got a big old bottle of Arnold Palmer. Woo! Hmm? What? Oh yeah, it is homemade. Homemade of Arnold Palmer. I will say. Oh, love you. I will say, you better enjoy these few little game things that we have right here, because the entire internet, Gold made a statement, Tectone made a statement, XQC made a statement. We're gonna be reacting to all of it. We're gonna be watching the Charlie Kirk, Donald Trump talking about it. If you have a flag at home, go to half. Actually, it's half flag anyway because it's 9/11. Enjoy this little section while it lasts, because we're about to get into some pretty heavy political shit, unfortunately. It's sad to see it, but we're on the brink of World War III and a civil war, and like we've never seen before. So we might as well get the calming out of the way and then get into the heavy shit. It's going to be a long stream, boys. So I hope you came locked in, because we're going to need it. Charlie Kirk. If you've been scrolling on YouTube Shorts, you would have seen his videos. He got famous for saying what needed to be said, a lot like Gold. It's not so much what he stood for, it's the fact that an American had their rights violated because of his political views. He's dead now. Because he believed in something for the youth, for Americans, he's dead. His amendment rights have been violated by the very people sworn to protect it. Americans. It's a sad day to be an American. I kid you not, I found out that he had been shot. And I came in here and I fucking sat down and I cried. Because I knew that this is going to be the beginning of American rights being taken away. Because these retards can't stop killing people. They can't stop doing it. This could be the change that America unfortunately needs but does not want. Whenever you've got political figures being assassinated for their political views, even just for believing in something that helps Americans. I sat down and I immediately became very disgusted with the United States and what it's become. I have. I'm not sad that he's dead. I'm sad that an American couldn't speak freely in a public place without fear of being shot. That's what I'm sad about. It's just sad, man. So, I did actually buy this game. No, I'm not going to be streaming it. I'm going to be playing it probably this weekend. I played a little bit more of Hell Is Us. I've been playing it a little bit every day, a little bit past 6 p.m. and playing it until like 9. I'm actually really enjoying Hell Is Us. I don't understand the negativity towards it. I actually quite like it. I'm not going to play this on stream because the TOS in the game allows them to take your content, which I'm fine with. I've said it before, if anyone wants to use any of my content for any reason, feel free to. Whatever you want, it's there for you to use, as long as you ask the original climate for it. Or if you feel like, I don't know, you're not going to get a copy strike, then that's on you. But just make sure that you, go through all levels. You don't have to ask me, but I'd prefer that you ask the people whose climate, the original copyright owners of some of this stuff before you go and use my content.
Passion for looter shooters has burned quite brightly for over 15 years, and Borderlands is the flame that lit the fuse. With Borderlands 4, Gearbox proves it still knows how to bring the boom. After fizzling somewhat with Borderlands 3, it felt like this series had begun to fall behind in the genre it pioneered. But breaking away from segmented levels and
I have played every Borderlands thing except for Tiny Tina's Wonderland. I need to play that. And this game.
Facing an honest-to-goodness open world.
I didn't play Tales from the Borderland or whatever that one was. I watched Jacksepticeye play it.
Allows 2025's Borderlands to surprise us again. Drastically improved movement makes it one of the best feeling first-person shooters out there. The story takes a refreshingly grounded approach that pays off.
Planet Kairos. Heard of it?
So far, my favorite Borderlands game was Borderlands 2.
Of course not.
And the expanded build crafting options like healing items, throwing knives, and weapon enhancements are all fantastic ideas. But taking these swings also comes with some unfortunate downsides, like how exploration is quite literally held back by invisible walls and awkward surfaces that refuse to be trod upon. Not to mention fairly rocky technical performance on the PC version provided for review, and numerous bugs.
Stop shooting my ride!
But those rough borders did little to keep me from once again falling head over heels for my first looter shooter love, and blasting through hordes of psychos with a...
What's really awesome about Borderlands, and what it once stood for, was the randomization of the weapons you could get, and the attachments that could come with them if it dropped. It felt like if a legendary dropped, you were the luckiest man in the world. In Borderlands 3, I'm sorry. It didn't feel like it was that. It felt like every weapon was already pre-made with the legendary attachments. And they were crap. All the legendaries in Borderlands 3 were crap. They were junk. Unless you had a character built to use the weapon, it was junk.
Friend or 3 feels as awesome as it ever has.
I actually like this guy. I like this guy's reviews because he's honest and it doesn't feel like he's being weird about it. Anytime this guy does a review on a game, he always plays a game that he knows or a genre he knows. I don't know if you hear me, IGN. I'm sure you don't care. My advice is to continue using this man. His work is phenomenal. His journalism is probably the best that I've dealt with or seen. These last few people that did these reviews were terrible. They're just terrible. I'm sorry. I'm gonna say it.
If you're new to the
Jacob's?
absolute
Bro, I hate Jacob's weapons. Jacob's weapons don't have any affinities. They have nothing. They're just basic guns.
insanity that is Borderlands,
Bro, you get a legendary that drops and it's a Jacobs, it's over, dude. You might as well just clear the save data and just make a new game. Dude, I can't tell you how many times a legendary is dropped and I saw that it was a Jacobs and I just left it on the ground.
it's a
I was like,
series
no.
where the weird enemies you mow down drop increasingly bizarre weapons that you then use to mow down even
That
weirder.
was the best part about the original Borderlands 2 game. Was like, whenever stuff dropped, you could have a gun that you not only throw that explodes, but also grows legs and shoots. And it shoots, and every time it reloads, it makes copies until the copies get too small and they blow up.
Enemies in an endless
Like, the
cycle
crazy amount of just different attachments that you could get on guns were just insane.
of looting and shooting. How bizarre?
And every game they've ever made has been 4-player co-op, which is great, but I mean, let's be honest here, it's okay.
It's stuff like this shotgun that fires sparkly stars that cover the ground and
Dude, the sparkly stars are making the mob spin around.
it's stuff like this shotgun that fires sparkly stars
Yo,
that cover the ground
that's
and
so funny!
enemies in elemental damage. Or maybe you'll luck into this sniper rifle that fires off rounds like a Gatling gun and stops consuming ammo while overheated.
Jesus,
Borderlands
that's
4
crazy.
keeps that feeling fresh by continuing to iterate on the silly weapons it gives you, which can now cross-pollinate across different weapon manufacturers for even weirder outcomes.
That's so cool.
Borderlands 4 is a massive
Because,
breath-
like, I think it's Theodore. Theodore has when you reload it, you throw the weapon in it, it breaks into smaller guns that, like, run around and shoot mobs. No, Theodore is whenever you reload it, you throw it like a grenade and it explodes. I'm sorry. So now that could be cross-pollinated with another gun. It's kind of crazy. And you have to kill the mobs in order for the weapons to drop. You can't, like, mate them or anything.
the fresh air, bordering on what almost
I saw a
seems
comment
like
and I was like,
soft reboot at
no.
times. It immediately adds some memorable characters to its cast, like the fancy and charming Levain, who has a somewhat messy dating history with your fellow Vault Hunters. But then every once in a while, it takes a
Claptrap!
welcome dip back into the nostalgia pool to have Claptrap rattle off a few jokes.
Ta-da!
Ta-da!
What do you think?
Claptrap's been around since the first game. No, he
Plumber
wasn't. He was in the second game.
hate him, he's still here.
Was he in the first game? Was Claptrap in the first game? It's been so long. I haven't played the first game since high school. Was Claptrap in the first game? He was. Holy shit. I'm shooked.
With a few neat twists in store and a compelling plot about trying to free this planet, I ended up liking the story quite a bit, even if it doesn't hit the
I didn't like the third one because, like, I liked the idea of the ship and going to different planets and unlocking the vault, but I wanted to see more planets and more vaults. Like, I wanted to do a bunch of side stuff with planets, and it just didn't feel like it was right.
Eyes of Borderlands
It was
2,
done, but it wasn't done right.
especially in terms of its iconic villain.
Time to bolt.
Most of the action itself is what you'd expect from the series, but number 4 makes a number of pretty huge changes that shake up your vault hunting expedition. The biggest by far is the fact that Borderlands 4 is a proper open world game that's filled with side quests, timed activities, collectibles.
Oh, finally. So they really brought back the Borderlands 2 formula. See, that's what Borderlands 3 was missing, is like just being able to walk around and find random side quests. Completing it and getting like drops of guns was so good.
Puzzles to seek out. You also have a whole bag of tricks to aid you in the exploration of Kairos' 4 diverse regions, like a grapple hook that lets you get
That's
to
cool.
areas normally out of reach, a glider to soar over large swaths of land,
added a glider.
and a vehicle you can summon on command to zip over hills.
That's so nice. But in Borderlands 2, I don't know if it was like that in Borderlands 3, but in Borderlands 2, I don't remember if it's like that in 3. You had to go over to like a thing and summon the vehicle that way.
and through deserts without having to hoof it to a catch-a-ride station first.
Yep. So yeah.
That might not seem like a big deal at first.
It is.
But it's hard to overstate how different this makes Borderlands 4.
See, that's how I know this guy's played the game. He's played the played the predecessors
from its predecessors.
Mhm.
Not just because you've got so many new ways to get around, but because progressing through the story and leveling up your character is so much less linear now. Sometimes I'd spend a few hours just exploring a new region of the map, clearing the fog of war and completing any activities I encountered along
Ooh,
the
there's
way,
fog now.
while other times
Ooh.
I'd race from place to place, focusing on one part of the main story quest line before pivoting to another part of it in a different region. That story took me about 40 hours to complete.
Is that a legendary? Hold on. What dropped
in a
right
different
there?
region. That story took
What is that? Is that a legendary gun that
me
dropped for
about
him?
40
What the fuck?
before pivoting to another part of it in a different region. That
That's totally what that is, unless that's something else.
story took me about 40 hours to complete, but that was with plenty of distractions, and I've spent another 20 plus after the credits rolled, with lots still left to do.
It's both. It's single player and it's not multiplayer, it's co-op. So like you can play online with randoms, but you don't have to. It's just something that like if you wanted to play with some friends, you can do. It's single.
There is one major issue with this new open world philosophy that grinds my gears. It's just that the physical terrain of Kairos doesn't always rise to the occasion of these free roaming ambitions.
That's
For
funny.
example, some areas are filled with invisible walls that you'll unsatisfyingly slap into while
Yeah.
you're trying to glide over a hill or mantle up a ledge.
That's okay, I'm fine with that. Black Myth Wukong had its fair share of invisible
Borderlands
walls.
has always had issues with its environments being
It
a bit
has. That's why at this point it's just part of the Borderlands charm,
wonky,
honestly.
but it feels so much more noticeable in an open world where you assume you're meant to explore every nook and cranny. And most games come up with natural barriers like mountains or oceans to make it clear that you can go no farther. Instead, you quickly find the limitations of that exploration and they feel artificial. Although I eventually
It
learned
happens.
to recognize when a surface was probably not something I was going to be allowed to interact with, it still bums me out that there isn't just some kind of out-of-bounds warning when going places I wasn't meant to. One other major...
Yeah, in Borderlands 2, there was like... So, what I really appreciate about Borderlands 1 and 2 is that if you started going out of bounds, these guns would like blast you and you would die. And it was so funny, dude. Like, me and a friend used to fuck with the turrets all the time. Like, you couldn't do anything to them, but like, we would try to like get to them. And I think 1 or 2 times we actually managed to get out to the gun. And they're in like a circle around the outskirts of the map. Like, not all the way around, but in parts where you could go out into the water and stuff. And it's just funny because like you would get blasted and then you would just go, your dead corpse would just go flying.
area of evolution is combat, which not only has tighter, more responsive gunplay than any Borderlands game before it, but comes packed with a frankly silly number of new movement options that make battles much more dynamic. In addition to the existing ways to get around like running and sliding, you can now double jump, glide, grapple hook, dash in any direction, and
That's
even
fun.
swim. That's right, water no longer instantly kills you.
What?
Praise
They added
Moxie.
swimming.
It actually took me quite a while to remember all the new ways I was expected to navigate combat encounters. But with the help of some enemies that smartly push you to make full use of your options, I eventually learned to master them. By the end, I was soaring across the map, dodging attacks like a pro.
This kinda
and
looks
raining
like how
down hell upon
Doom-
my enemies. It became wonderfully
How Doom Eternal's movement looks.
satisfying
honestly.
stuff once I got the hang of it.
Okay, so that's a legendary gun. What are the weapon rarities in Borderlands 4? Because Epic is purple, so that is a legendary. Why are there so many legendary guns dropping?
Gearbox has also heaped an impressively high volume of new things to shoot into this game. There are little mechanical spiders that reflect all bullets you send their way
That's
when
crazy.
they spin their legs rapidly. Creatures covered in crystals that are immune to damage until you shoot those crystals off
That's
and
cool.
quickly destroy the floating orbs they turn into, and many others that I hadn't seen before. Those caused me to stop and adapt to their tactics in interesting ways, and that was always a memorable moment. Even better are the boss fights, which have evolved pretty significantly
What
in that
the
they usually
hell is
involve
that?
some special
Whoa!
mechanics you have to learn in order to beat them. These are often pretty simple things, like picking up and throwing a toxic bomb onto one boss to peel his armor off, or having to juggle yourself in the air with grappling and gliding after the floor becomes hazardous for a phase of another fight. Granted, they don't come close to the mechanical complexity of something you'd find in a Destiny raid, but those are often kind of over the top, and this is a significant step up from some of the basic dodge and shoot until it dies battles we've seen in Borderlands past. It's a happy medium, and that makes these bosses a lot less
That boss
forgettable.
looks really cool.
That's not to say there
Primordial
aren't any basic
Guardian
fights,
Inceptus?
but it's fair to say that those can be an entertaining excuse to turn off your brain and blast something to bits, and serve as a contrast
Yo,
to
that's what I really missed about Borderlands 2. It's like I'm just able to turn my brain off and just shoot things until they fucking die. And then like they drop really good stuff and you feel like you actually earned it, you know?
the ones with an extra element to them. Rest assured, the major bosses usually step up their game pretty noticeably. It's also neat that you'll start encountering enemies with various modifiers as you get further into the adventure, and unlock
Sorry about
higher
that.
difficulties via the endgame grind. These might be things like Elemental Eater, an effect that means enemies aren't just resistant to a specific type of attack, but healed by it.
Oh, that's
Or
crazy.
Centripetal, which causes a black hole to form where an enemy with this trait dies, pulling everything in range into its center and dealing massive damage. It's not all new, groundbreaking stuff for Borderlands. These are similar to effects found in Borderlands 3's Mayhem mode, for instance, but they're now a central part of Borderlands 4, and that makes combat more interesting and has you staying a little bit more aware even of enemies you've seen a lot of already.
So like elemental like effects can affect certain mobs. For example, if you shoot a robot with acid, it destroys them. Or if you shoot certain mobs are weak to electricity, I believe there's fire, there's what kind of element? I think there's like 4 elements. How many elements are in Borderlands 4? 6. You've got corrosive, explosive. Oh, that's right, explosive, radiation, and incendiary, shock, and cryo. So freeze.
If the fact that I've gone this long without even getting to discussing the entirely new batch of Vault Hunters in Borderlands 4 doesn't tell you there's a lot going on here, I don't know what will.
I'll give that to Borderlands. They usually do make a pretty big story. They do add a lot. It doesn't feel like copy and paste slop. I'll say that.
sticks to tradition, but puts some pretty neat spins on the series' existing classes. There's the Siren Vex, who uses her space magic to deal elemental damage, and
If
has
I'm
some
not mistaken, that's the girl that Lilith gave her powers to, or something like that.
awesome life-stealing options. Rafa, the Exo Soldier, who can summon all sorts of digistructed weapons, from shoulder-mounted turrets to melee arm blades, as though Borderlands didn't have enough weapons already. Harlow, a Gravatar with an assortment of gravity manipulation abilities that can trap enemies in bubbles, among other things. And Amon, a massive cybernetically enhanced warrior called a Forge Knight, who has a bunch of melee options at his disposal.
I hope that this one does well enough that they add more characters like they did in Borderlands 2. I do. I really hope they add more characters, because I enjoyed playing as the Psycho. I loved playing as Krieg. He was so fun to play as.
Each one feels
he would have abilities where he would do damage to himself just to fuck up other enemies. He would turn into like a super fucking Krieg. It was crazy.
Good, with unique tools that make them all viable choices for endgame activities without feeling especially overpowered. While I've been pretty high on it so far, I do have some complaints to lodge as someone who tends to play this kind of game more than once, and with an eye toward making each of those playthroughs feel distinct. After a few dozen hours with it, it strikes me that Borderlands 4's build crafting hasn't pushed the series into the realm of something like Diablo, or dare I say it, Path of Exile. Given that there are a few branching paths to choose from in each Vault Hunter skill trees, that you can then optimize with gear to excel at a handful of specific things, like dealing loads of elemental damage or healing yourself when getting kills, but not enough customization options to really go wild. That said, the 3 different trees each character does have each at least add a little bit of variety to how every class can play, meaning more than one person on your team can use the same Vault Hunter while having a different set of buffs and abilities that can make them work well together.
True. So, like, the way the characters play is each character has 3 different skill trees, and you really don't want to spec into all the skill trees. You really should only spec into one, because you have a max cap. I think it's like 50 or 60. So, like, if you tried to go down multiple trees, you're just gonna fuck yourself. You're better off just picking one tree and going down that tree.
For example, for the first half of my playthrough, I focused on Vex's spectral summoning tree to deploy ghostly doppelgangers onto the battlefield.
That's
But
cool.
after finding a legendary item that worked well for a different kind of build, I respec'd into the elemental DPS tree that focused on casting powerful spells instead of summoning others to do my bidding. If those 2 different characters work together side by side, there'd be little overlap in what they're bringing to an up to 4-person team. Ah yes, teams. Although Borderlands 4 feels great to play solo as well, for sure the best way to play is when among friends, and those who play together should
I'm not gonna lie, it makes playing in like the multiplayer maps, if you've got good people that really know what they're doing, it makes it so much easier. Because it's a bitch to play the solo.
expect to experience
You do get loot modifiers a lot like Diablo if you play in the harder difficulties. Like, if you get if a legendary gun drops in normal, the modifiers that it'll get will be intensified times. Like, you'll get better ones if you play in like the hardest difficulty. But the hardest difficulty is fucking hard. It's hard. It's not a joke.
The vast
Like,
majority
it makes Dark Souls look easy.
my time in Borderlands was spent with friends, and we encountered just about every issue in the online multiplayer book.
It's not Doom levels of hard, but it's still pretty damn hard, because the way the enemies function, how like some of them absorb electricity, and like it gets intensified times 20, dude. It's crazy.
From combat, if you're not the host, enemies sometimes becoming immune to damage or teleporting around the map, and non-host players
It's
losing
literally like a
progress
bullet
or
hell.
getting kicked out of quest lines because something didn't track properly, just to name a few. Some
The
of
typical Borderlands stuff.
this, like the fact that you don't uncover the map in your own save file while exploring with friends,
That's crazy.
seem like it might be intentional, but is still deeply annoying and disincentivizes teaming up. Other issues, like equipment selling vending machines that consistently offered no wares at all for any of us while in co-op, or just head-scratching pains in the neck. There were times when I hit enough issues in succession where it became preferable to just play solo, and others where it created friction when deciding who'd be the group's host.
Yeah, whenever they make the Borderlands games, they usually focus on solo first, So a lot of that stuff is optimized before they get into the multiplayer aspect of the
because
co-op.
we knew that person would see the fewest problems. That's definitely not the kind of dynamic you want in your co-op game. And it caused
What's really fun to do, and I don't know if they fixed this or not, I know in Borderlands 3 they did. So, like, you could be level, like, 25 and you pull your little level 1 friend in, and you can just go through as level 20 and mow down, like, all the mobs, and you just level your friend up like crazy. It was so fun to do.
group no small amount of grief as we discovered the various ways in which things feel not so great when playing together, despite gunplay and synergizing our builds with one another otherwise being really awesome.
Synergizing is whenever you use your elements together to take down enemies. So, like, if somebody's using, like, for example, cryo and another person's using fire, it makes a synergy.
Granted, some of this is the result of playing a short time before launch, and there will certainly be at least a few fixes by the time you play it. But if history is any lesson, it will be a minute before all of this is ironed out. Playing solo
welcome,
is
Puddin'.
smoother, but there's no escape from all the problems.
Puddin's played this, haven't you, Puddin'? You remember Borderlands? They're coming out with a new one.
Because Borderlands 4 is a fairly buggy ride in general. It seems
This
like
one
there
is supposed to be way better than the third one.
many bugs as there are guns, and the longer you play, the more likely you are to see things like infrequent but severe frame rate hitching, or your backpack suddenly deciding you have way less space for equipment than you should until you back out to the menu and reload. Two of my crew even found themselves locked out of the endgame grind when different steps in the quest line
I know you
broke,
did.
blocking their progression and making it so we couldn't run the activities
And those were the
we wanted
times,
to do
weren't it?
together. It's a testament to just how fun exploring Kairos is that even after all of that laundry list, I still couldn't wait to play more even after dozens of hours. You've got to take these complaints in context. Speaking of the endgame grind, Borderlands 4 appears to come preloaded with one of those. Although
Your season's difficulty has been upgraded to UVH rank 1 automatically. Each UVH rank grants you access to additional firm work, better loot, and tougher enemies. You can unlock 4 additional ranks by completing the new Ultimate Vault Hunter challenges found in your challenge log. You can raise or lower your difficulty mode at any time via the session settings
said
menu.
the same thing about Diablo 4. You can't call them all, alright? But I'm feeling optimistic. There are 3 activities you're expected to complete weekly, a more challenging version of a
Oh
story mission.
man,
It has
this weekly shit? Get the fuck out of here with that.
a bunch of tricky modifiers, like one where all enemies explode into those black holes of damage, and another where enemies heal themselves when dealing damage to your team.
Look at that.
Then
look at
there's a
that pussy.
repeatable boss fight that mostly seems like it's there to give you a straightforward enemy to kill as many times as you'd like for great drops, and a hidden vending machine that moves around each week and sells guaranteed legendary loot.
Ooh,
As you
I
grind
like
these
that.
activities, you'll also unlock
It
the
looks
more
like they ditched the whole prior game altogether, huh?
advanced world tier difficulties that offer better rewards, but these are gate-kept behind incredibly challenging quests with loads of modifiers that are the ultimate test of your loadout and shooting skills. At this point, none of these things are particularly deep or time-consuming since you just run them all each week and then are basically done. But even if that's not your thing, there's still a massive map that has lots of side activities for you to complete out of the box. Are there still boxes? Beyond that, we have promises that Gearbox has a fairly good track record of delivering on, courtesy of a post-launch roadmap which includes plenty of content on the way. I have a lot of hope that Borderlands 4 will have legs for quite some time.
It probably
I'm
will.
already on my way. I'm gonna make it through this. Please.
Here we go.
Borderlands 4 is a badass open-world evolution of a wonderfully unhinged looter-shooter series that needed to try something new, and it largely nails the biggest swings it takes. Combat is slicker than ever thanks to exciting movement
that
options
shit was way
and
better.
some interesting enemy designs. And the entertaining story takes things in a fresh direction while still tying neatly into existing lore. The transition to an open world isn't the smoothest, especially
Yeah, that's
when
right, I
traveling
remember that
terrain
now.
with a few too many invisible walls can make it feel like these environments are all for show, but that's more than worth putting up with in exchange for being able to chart your own path and freely explore the wacky, violent world of Kairos. The bugs my crew and I encountered were bad enough to occasionally sour our co-op groove, but in between them, we had a great time. And my friends and I have found ourselves utterly at the mercy of this new loot grind. The Borderlands series feels like it's been a bit stuck in the mud for some time.
Oh, this is Borderlands 2.
And especially after a few patches, Borderlands 4 is exactly the kick in the pants it has needed.
Hey, I'll take that. That's reasonable.
Executive review.
That was a good stuff. This guy's really good at rating. Use him more. He's really good. Don't get rid of him, IGN. He's good. Okay. Let's see. Let's move this back. Move this back. Fuck, we just watched that. Oh, that's right. There's a new update. God damn it. This is also needs to move up. We about to, whenever we're done with this Elden Ring Night Rain thing, we're going to be covering a lot of Charlie Kirk stuff. So you boys better lock in. This is going to be a really heavy topic. You boys better be locked in. Show speed, law enforcement, express. Got Charlie Kirk, legal mindset. We got Asmongold. We got Tectone. Tectone came out of fucking hiding to talk about this. Asmongold took time away from his dad to talk about this. We got all the heavy hitters. We got XQC. We got legal mindset. Everybody's talking about this. Oh shit, they recovered the sniper rifle. They recovered the sniper rifle 13 minutes ago. Get this motherfucker. Hold on. I need Tectone. Right here, Tectone.
Hey guys, sorry about the
How's it going, Tectone? Alright, new Elden Ring update, and then we gonna get in it.
The endless night descends upon Limveld. Deep of Night is a high difficulty mode added to Elden Ring Night Rain.
The night is far from over. What is this?
Using the skills honed through the Night Lords. You need to adapt flexibly to changing situations in battle. Each Night Lord fight.
When did this come out? 23 hours ago? What is this? Part 2. Deadlier Arsenal.
In Deep of Night, enemies that are stronger than usual will appear.
Jesus.
And even more powerful variants will stand in the way as threats to Nightfarers. Powerful effects.
That thing's causing 2 types of buildup.
If you can selectively choose and utilize effects with future battle, in order to obtain weapons and enhancements,
Oh, they trying too hard. Seriously.
Which can be obtained in Deep of Night.
What? Unleash the power of depth relics. What is that?
Another power granted to Nightfarers is the Depths Relics, which can be obtained in Deep of Night. Depths Relics are effective only in Deep of Night, featuring new effects and detrimental effects not found in existing relics.
Oh. That caused blood loss.
The new relics can be placed in 3 newly unlocked
What
slots.
the fuck? So you get 6 slots now.
For greater tactical flexibility
Jesus.
when used in combination with existing
That
relics.
new difficulty has to be insane.
In Deep of Night, You can increase your rating by defeating the Night Lords to reach the next depth.
Oh, so this is like, oh, weird.
As the depth increases, enemy strength escalates.
Really? So it punishes you for doing good. What sense does that make?
You may encounter situations where you cannot see the locations of key points on the map, or where the target Night Lord is unknown.
Oh, so you actually have to go to it.
Sometimes an ever-dark sovereign will appear on the third day, making the battles even more chaotic.
Ever-dark sovereign. Oh.
Combine the new elements to skillfully boost your player character.
Fuck that boss, by the way. Not that one. This bug-eyed bastard. Fuck that boss.
Combine
that boss
the
is
new
the worst
elements
one.
to skillfully boost your player character. Coordinate with your allies. Define your own play skills. And challenge the boundless.
Kind of hard to coordinate with your allies if you can't have voice chat, huh? Okay. Here we go.
Fellow Americans, I am filled with grief and anger at the heinous assassination of Charlie Kirk on a college campus in Utah. Charlie inspired millions, and tonight, all who knew him and loved him are united in shock and horror. Charlie was a patriot who devoted his life.
He was an American that spoke freely in a public place, and he's dead because of it. I never thought that, as an American, I'd see the day where political figures were scared to talk about their political views in a country where it's supposed to be free. These people that go around and call these figures Nazis, they go around and call these people these terrible things, these dictators. We need to round these people up, and we need to deport them to countries where dictatorship and terrorism is very much so there. There are people that are starving in foreign countries because of their government. And instead of utilizing our freedom of speech, we are killing people utilizing theirs. As an American, I think that America is very sick. Whenever you are advocating for the death of people from online websites to the point where people are going out and actively doing it, I want the US government to crack down on this if that involves online ID or the latter. It has gone on for too long where people were able to advocate for violence like Hassan and Mike from PA without having any real repercussions because these online platforms are being biased towards the country and the people that live in it. The solid majority voted for Trump. I did not. I still, quite frankly, don't like him. Say what you want about him, but is the only president that we've had in the past 20 years that has actively stopped 3 world wars, or 3 wars peacefully, or at least attempted to. You can sit here and say what you want about him, but he's actively trying to clean these streets up. He's actively trying to fuck these big corporations in the ass by deporting all these illegal immigrants that are saving them millions. That man went up on stage not as a Republican or a radical, but as an American speaking his beliefs, and he's dead because of it. As an American, I am ashamed of the country that I live in that advocates day and night for all these freedoms given by the Constitution, and yet the same people that are doing this are the ones that are going out and killing people. I have a friend that is in the service. He has just been told not to wear his uniform as an American service member because he could be attacked in American streets. Whenever I found out Charlie Kirk had been shot and killed, I didn't see a radical. I saw an American standing up for what he believed in, and he's dead because of it. It doesn't matter what your view is. What matters is that you are able to, in your own country, to stand up for it. And you can't do that in America. Not for fear of prosecution, but for fear of death. You want a dictatorship? It's sad that it's coming from its own American people and not from the government.
To the cause of open debate and the country that he loves so much, the United States of America. He fought for liberty, democracy, justice, and the American people. He's a martyr for truth and freedom, and there's never been anyone who was so respected by youth.
He was able to get so many young people to understand what's going on in this country. Sure, I didn't believe all of what he was saying, sure. But so many things that he said about the youth and their inability to function in this world are no different than what Bernie Sanders advocated for. No different than what Asmongold or Tectone. You're just gonna go out and kill everybody, are you? Is that the country we live in? That's really the country we live in, where you don't even have to worry about the government being a dictatorship. You've got to worry about the people. What's wrong with you?
Charlie was also a man of deep, deep faith, and we take comfort in the knowledge that he is now at peace with God in heaven. Our prayers are with his wife,
I think that it's a good thing that Trump was the one that said it. Trump was the one that first announced it on Truth and on Twitter that he had passed. Trump was very close to Charlie. I think this whole thing has absolutely shook the nation down to its core. With all that's going on in Chicago and LA and these other states that have been advocating against what Trump is pushing, you need to come to terms with the fact that you are the minority and your time is coming to an end. Whether you like it or not, it's coming to an end. Your reign of keeping poor people in their place by keeping these illegal immigrants and using all that extra money to move political people around like pieces on a chessboard is coming to an end, whether you like it or not. It doesn't matter how many political figures you kill, you're just going to make martyrs out of all of them.
America, the two young, beloved children, and his entire family, who he loved more than anything in the world. We ask God to watch over them in this terrible hour of heartache and pain. This is a dark moment for America.
It is. Today is 9/11, boys. They killed Charlie Kirk the day before one of the biggest terrorist attacks in the history of the U.S. Today is 9/11. We live in a day and age where you can't go to a campus and speak freely in fear of death. It's kind of crazy how this all came back full circle, isn't it?
Charlie Kirk traveled the nation, joyfully engaging with everyone interested in good faith debate. His mission was to bring young people into the political process, which he did better than anybody ever, to share his love of country and to spread the simple words of common sense. On campuses nationwide, he championed his ideas with courage, logic, humor, and grace. It's a long past time for all Americans and the media to confront the fact that violence and murder are the tragic consequence of demonizing those with whom you disagree day after day, year after year, in the most hateful and despicable way possible. For years, those on the radical left have compared wonderful Americans like Charlie to Nazis and the world's worst mass murderers and criminals. This kind of rhetoric is directly responsible for the terrorism that we're seeing in our country today, and it must stop right now. I
absolutely agree with that. I have said this. I was happy for the National Guard. I was happy for the National Guard to come in and start cleaning up these streets. When you have a trans boy shoot up a church, writing, "Where's your God?" on the magazines, fuck Donald Trump, kill Donald Trump, on the ammo packs, on the gun itself. When you have a Ukrainian nationalist survive and escape the war to be killed by a homeless man, and them not even talk about it until Elon Musk says on the site that he bought, Twitter, that no one was covering it. And then you had people like Tectone, Asmon Gold, Charlie, Moist Critical, talk about it. And you insist that your crimes in these cities are going down. You had two young Americans, young nationalists, they weren't Americans, they were foreigners, killed at a Capitol in America. They were set to be married, but the crime is down. You have a man 3D printing a gun, killing a CEO, advocating for violence on these platforms. People like Hassan and Mike from PA advocating for the death of Americans and other people. Live in front of 30 to 40,000 people. And then somebody goes out and does it, and you're shocked that it happened. This is the kind of stuff that's going to remove American rights. I did advocate for the National Guard to be in these states to clean them up. I don't anymore. I want Trump to remove the National Guard and bring in the U.S. military. If they have to roll fucking panzers up the fucking street to clear this cancer out of our communities, then so be it. But he did one better. He's got the U.S. fucking Marines cleaning this country in its filth. And to be quite frank, I don't want these people to go to jail. I want them to be exiled from the United States. If it's so goddamn bad for you to live here, then go somewhere else. Go somewhere what a dictator, what a tyrant really looks like. Go somewhere where terrorists thrive. And you'll realize really quick, you fucked up. Enough of this call to violence. We're tired of seeing real Americans be killed because of this stupidity. It's enough.
Administration will find
You call and scream, but our freedoms, you are actively killing people, expressing their freedoms of speech, expressing their freedoms of opinion. You have no room to talk anymore. The talking is done. You have taken the first action.
each and every one of those who contributed to this atrocity and to other political violence, including the organizations that fund it and support it, as well as those who go after our judges, law enforcement officials, and everyone else who brings order to our country. From the attack on my life in Butler, Pennsylvania last year, which killed a husband and father, to the attacks on ICE agents, to the vicious murder of a healthcare executive in the streets of New York, to the shooting of House Majority Leader Steve Scalise and 3 others.
Oh my God, that's right. I forgot about that. There was that guy as well. His wife got killed
Radical
too.
left political violence has hurt too many innocent people and taken too many lives. Tonight, I ask all Americans to commit themselves to the American values for which Charlie Kirk lived and died, the values of free speech, citizenship, the rule of law, and the patriotic devotion and love of God. Charlie was the best of America, and the monster who attacked him was attacking our whole country. An assassin tried to silence him with a bullet, but he failed, because together we will ensure that his voice, his message, and his legacy will live on for countless generations to come. Today, because of this heinous act, Charlie's voice has become bigger and grander than ever before, and it's not even close. May God bless his memory, may God watch over his family, and may God bless the United States of America. Thank you.
Conservative activist Charlie Kirk was shot and killed while speaking on the campus of Utah Valley University in Orem, Utah.
This morning, flags are at half-staff and on.
That's right.
It is my great dishonor to be the person that says this and breaks this to you on television, but President Donald Trump is announcing on Truth Social, the great and even legendary Charlie Kirk is dead. No one understood or had the heart of the youth in the United States of America better than Charlie.
We're talking about a man that spent so much of his day sitting in a booth at a table, answering questions to random people on the sidewalk at schools. Just in general. He spent so much of his life dedicated to this cause, and he's dead because of it.
He was loved and admired by all, especially me, and now he is no longer with us. Melania and my sympathies go out to his beautiful wife, Erica.
He was 31. He was just 31, man. He's a year older than me.
His family. Charlie, we love you. Charlie Kirk, according to the President of the United States, is dead.
Yeah, and today was actually the start of his American comeback tour. He was kicking that off today at Utah Valley University, and he's become famous online for when he does these. These are when he sets those tables up and has his Prove Me Wrong table. We've seen Charlie Kirk be so willing to debate anybody, anywhere, anytime in a common professional manner and talk about any topics that sometimes
And you know what's insane? This man didn't advocate for violence once. Not a single time. Not once. And I don't condone violence either. I never will. At least not publicly. I have my own thoughts and opinions and feelings towards the people that advocate for this. But I'm going to be honest. I'm not going to say what they are. Because I don't want to get canceled. And canceled, I mean, I don't want YouTube to delete my channel. I think the closest thing that I'll take is having them deported. They don't deserve to be in America. If you advocate for violence against people who are utilizing their free speech, you don't deserve to be an American. You don't deserve to be here. You want to preach that your constitutional rights are being violated? His was. And he's dead because of it. Because he used his constitutional right. He's dead now.
Are a little uncomfortable for people. So he was kicking that off at Utah Valley University today. We've got Jason Chaffetz on the phone. Jason, we were reading some of your social media posts. You were there. You witnessed this. What happened?
Well, it's a good crowd. A lot of people were chanting his name. I was there. My daughter was there. Son-in-law's there. My wife was there. I mean, Charlie Kirk coming to town. We were excited, and people were there, and there were lots of them. And he came out. He was throwing hats, riling up the crowd. He took his.
We live in a society where if you wear a hat or you have a belief or you have an ideology, it could get you killed. I look at this man and I see everything that America should be. His ideals were pretty pinpoint perfect. Not all of them were perfect. I'm sure that if I had listened to a little bit more than I should of what he said, that I wouldn't line up exactly with what he was saying. But I will say that that doesn't mean that he deserved to die. He spoke up for people who had student loans and how wrong the society was for teaching them at a young age that if you don't go to college, you won't get a good job and live happily. Housing market, he talked about food, cost of living in general. And because of that, he's dead.
His first question, which was, I have to catch my breath trying to run into the house here.
Take your time.
He took a first question, which was a religious question. And then he got to the second question, which was about 30 minutes into his presentation, 2:30 local time. And the question was about transgender shooters, mass killings, versus people that weren't transgender. And when that happened, when that question came out, and he's going to have the interaction, one shot. I was watching Charlie. I can't say that I saw blood. I can't say that I saw him get hit, but I did see him fall immediately backwards into his left. And I can just hope and pray that somehow he survived that.
My God, we're all praying. He's married to his wife, Erica, for 4 years now. Jason, obviously, you're visibly very emotional, obviously, having just witnessed this. Married to Erica for 4 years, 2 children, a son and a daughter. All we can do is pray right now until we get an update on what exactly happened.
He was the average American, boys. He was the normal Joe. He was a normal Joe that went out and spoke what he thought was right. You know, I actually, I got a comment this morning on a video that I had done about Hassan Piker. To give you an idea of the brain rot that our society is dealing with, it was about the legal mindset video where Hassan was getting into a lot of trouble because of that person that went around and made those terroristic threats to a bunch of businesses. The video's title was Hassan, I guess, housing or protecting yet another terrorist. And then the comment said, which was hilarious because I checked his channel out, it said, illegal mindset is wrong, even though he's a lawyer. I guess somehow magically he's wrong because this person felt like they were wrong. And if I had done anything other than just sit there and agree with him and do more useful content instead of the same slop, pretty much a very negative comment. So I went to his channel and I literally just saw Hassan Piker streams reposted onto his channel. So I made a comment under the first video, the first stream that I saw. I said, and this is the problem with America. You're a hypocrite. Smiling, laughing emoji. And then I removed him from the channel. He can no longer view the content on the channel or make comments. That's the kind of people that go out and take American rights. Do I think they deserve to die? No. You know why? Because I'm the better person. I do think they don't need to be here.
Happened here and his condition, although there are reports that he was ushered off by his security team and if shot, obviously hoping he's getting immediate medical help. There are obviously, Jason, starting to be some pictures emerging online of the moment when this happened. There are even some photos of a man who was hauled off after this happened. So we're waiting.
By the way, the guy that was asked the questions about the trans and the mass shootings, they hauled him off thinking that he was part of it, and he was not. He was not part of this.
Waiting on details.
They don't know who did it. Because the minute this guy took the shot, he ran.
Facts as this story
They know where he was, though.
But we know Charlie. We've seen and heard from him many times over the years. He's been a very present conservative through the Trump movement, leading students. And to your point, Jason, you said he came to town. We came to listen. He has an enormous following and so many supporters.
You know why? Because much like Trump, the solid majority agree with what he says. Not everything that he says, but a good majority.
That obviously would be praying for him right now, Jason.
Well, I traded text messages with him. I traded text messages with him ahead of time, and I said, "Hey, Charlie, I hope they get a chance to see you. Our family would like to see you again, and we still want to see him again." So he said he was going to go for a few hours, and maybe we could see him afterwards. But
you don't understand how tiring this must have been for Charlie. For him to go around all over the country and go to these universities and speak for hours and hours and hours like that. He worked his ass off to get up on that stage and do what he's doing. Even, there are reports of him before he went up there, before he went and did any of his stage, he looked so tired and exhausted. And he got up there and reasoned with everybody that went up on that stage and didn't have to threaten them at all.
Gosh, it's just, he's there doing the right thing, and it's so great to see all these 20-year-olds enthusiastic about politics in the world, and to have an open dialogue.
This kind of stuff is what causes radicalism. When you go out and you see a public figure get killed, assassinated, essentially, you cause the people that saw this to advocate for it back. When you go out and you take a figure like this, you cause unreparable damage to your cause. Irreparable. It's like whenever you go and you start protesting, and the protesting is you standing on top of a burning car. You're an idiot. You're absolutely stupid. You've just damaged whatever cause you were standing for. No one's going to listen to you now. You know why? Because you're a looter. You don't care about the American voice. You care about trying to do whatever you're doing. You're an anarchist.
And you know,
Jason, Jason, I apologize. I don't want to cut you off, but we're getting some reaction.
You make reasonable people that aren't insane realize maybe they're on the wrong side of things.
In from California Governor Gavin Newsom. Remember, he had Charlie Kirk on his podcast earlier this year. He says, quote, "The attack on Charlie Kirk is disgusting, vile, and reprehensible. In the United States of America, we must reject political violence in every form." And Sandra, Jason, just talking to you, I feel sick to my stomach right now. The first encounter I had with Charlie was back when I was covering the border, and he would just DM me on Twitter saying, "Hey, thank you for those reports. You're doing a great job down there. Keep in mind, he's got a wife and kids, young guy." I'm in shock at this news, Jason. After you heard that shot go off, what happened?
Hey, Bill, just let me jump in here. The FBI directors also just put up a statement on the Kirk shooting saying, quote, "Agents will be on the scene quickly, and the FBI stands in full support of the ongoing response."
So this is where they're saying he got shot from. So the guy posted up on a sniping point here and took the shot and hit him here, if I'm not mistaken.
On that campus, we're closely monitoring reports of a tragic shooting involving Charlie Kirk at Utah Valley University. Our thoughts are with Charlie, his loved ones, and everyone affected. Agents will be on the scene quickly, and the FBI stands in full support of the ongoing response and investigation. Also, the Secretary of the Department of War, Pete Hegseth, on Charlie Kirk, saying prayers for Kirk, an incredible Christian, American, and human being. May the healing hand of Jesus Christ be upon him. Still waiting on any details, Bill, to come in on his condition. Jason Chaffetz was with us, who was on site when this happened. And Jason, you said you couldn't identify blood, but you heard the shot and you saw him fall backwards when this happened.
I need to use the bathroom, and then we're going to keep going. I didn't even realize I had some chit chatters over and on the vertical stream, boys. If you guys want to switch over to the normal stream, y'all can. There's a normal like actual big stream if y'all want to switch over to that over on the vertical stream. And also join the Discord. We're here Monday through Friday. We discussed literally everything. But this, dude, like, this shook me to my core whenever I saw this. This shook me to my core. All I could do because I was sitting down and I was uploading videos and I was like, I need to check on something. And I opened up a YouTube tab and I saw it there and I was like, no, there's no way. There's no way. And then I opened it up and I was like, oh my God, like this can't be happening. There's no way. And then like I went and I did something and then I came back and I saw and I like refreshed the page and then it said Charlie Kirk dies at 31 and I was like, nah, that's gotta be clickbait. But then I saw that it was Fox News and I was like, before I even clicked on the video, dude, all I could do was just sit there and like just cry silently because like it just amazes me that, you know, like I had my grandfather and my uncle went off. Like my grandfather he served in the military, my uncle served in the Navy, and to think that we live in a country where you can't have your own ideals and opinions without being killed for it is absolutely insane. It's sick. This is him before he died.
That's a lot of people, Utah, I'll tell you what. All right, we're going to get started, everybody. You know how it works. Question and answer. Also, thank you to Lane from YRE5. That was great.
What really hurts to think about is that time and time again, these people have not advocated for violence. Time and time again, they have sat down with these mentally ill, disgusting freaks at these places. And time again, have they either advocated for violence or something happened to them. I don't understand how the U.S. government has allowed the advocation for violence on these social media platforms. I don't know how, but it needs to stop. And to be quite frank, I wasn't exactly for online ID. I wasn't. But at this point, I am. And the reason why is I would like to see laws passed that will automatically get you arrested if you advocate for a form of violence on any platform. Period. When you're calling to violence, you are not protesting and you are not using your freedom of speech. You are advocating for death and destruction of people. That is not freedom of speech. It is not. You can argue it all you want, but at the end of the day, it is not freedom of speech.
Appreciate it, and we're going to be here for a couple hours. Get comfortable. Bring the best libs that Utah has to offer.
Freedom of speech is telling a police officer to fuck off. Calling to violence is whenever you say you're going to dox them and kill their family. For all you assholes out there that don't know what that fucking definition is, that just want to go based on raw emotion and then get people like this man killed. Could have been anybody up there, man. Could have been Bernie up there. Could have been Asman. Could have been Tectone. Could have been fucking me. You gonna kill me because of my political views? Please show up to my fucking house. Please do it. Ain't no amount of Reddit karma gonna save you from me. And the people that go down to these protests in LA and Chicago that are paid, you're part of the fucking problem. Stop doing it. Breaking news is like whenever something's fresh to the internet. Oh, hold on. Hold on. Is it this one?
As I just mentioned, Charlie Kirk has died at a hospital in Utah.
Hold on. Let me see something. Like brand.
So Melania Trump.
Where is... There we go. Here it is. They found the sniper rifle. This was almost an hour ago now. They found the sniper rifle that committed this heinous act.
Last night I communicated with Erica. The family's devastated. As a commissioner of public safety, as a father, as a husband, I can only imagine what that family's going through. The heinous event that happened yesterday is not Utah. This is not what we're known for. Over the past several weeks, we've seen this state come together to help families in mourning, come together as a community to show what Utah is known for a state of character, of service, of camaraderie, of a neighboring feel.
I agree. I think you're right. Doc Mike, you're absolutely right. It doesn't matter if you agreed with his political views or not. He didn't deserve what he got. No one does. No one deserves to die because of their political opinion. This isn't a fucking dictatorship. This isn't World War II. This isn't Nazi Germany. Killing somebody based on what they believe in It's against the Constitution. What's wrong with you people advocating for violence like this? It's disgusting. No. No.
We will not stand for what happened yesterday. We are exhausting every lead. We have every officer invested in this, every investigator, every local agency. The outpouring of support from the law enforcement community has been astounding. We are investing everything we have into this, and we will catch this individual. Having walked through the crime scene, through the hallways of this school, through the classrooms, I can't imagine what the people on scene felt as well. A horrific event where some of them barricaded in classrooms, some of them ran in fear. Can't overstate the tragedy and the horrific event that yesterday was, and how we will work to bring to justice the actions of one individual or any other individuals that assisted in that. Our state has gone through a lot, and we will come out successful. With that, I'll turn the time over to Special Agent Bowles in charge.
And that's what's crazy, is you've got a point, Doc Mike. Recently, he did start talking about Big Pharma. He did start advocating for health, for mental health help for these people that are trans, for a lot of stuff, man. A lot of his ideals weren't emotional, they were logical, because they're problems that are hitting the country today. You can call me a conspiracy Andy, I don't care. But whenever I hear somebody speak out against Big Pharma, against a lot of these corporations that are funding a lot of these people that are advocating for these illegal immigrants to stay, because they're saving millions of dollars by hiring these illegal immigrants. Whenever I hear a Democratic, for whatever reason, it seems to be more Democratic than anything, I'd imagine it's because the Republicans aren't stupid. The people that are running for are currently Republicans, they know better. Who knows? Of all these people that are protesting, and then you hear about like the thought that they might be getting paid to do this. It makes you wonder how deep this really goes. How deep does the rabbit hole go?
Morning. My name is Robert Bowles, and I am the special agent in charge of the Salt Lake field office. Following yesterday's tragic shooting of Charlie Kirk, FBI agents have been working around the clock in coordination with our law enforcement partners. We are and will continue.
If you don't know what the issue is with immigrants, these big corporations hire these immigrants, work them 16 to 17 hours a day, pay them pennies on the dollar, and tell them that if they don't like it, that they'll just get deported. That they'll get them deported. That's the problem. Like that Hyundai plant that ICE recently raided that found 475 illegal immigrants. Each one of those illegal immigrants should have been making $60,000 a year. You times that by 475 immigrants, that company saved $28 million. That's just their wage. That's not including the healthcare benefits they'd be getting.
Continue to work nonstop until we find the person that has committed this heinous crime and find out why they did it. This morning I can tell you that we have recovered what we believe is the weapon that was used in yesterday's shooting. It is a high-powered bolt-action rifle. That rifle was recovered in a wooded area where the shooter had fled. So the FBI laboratory will be analyzing this weapon. Investigators have also collected footwear impression, a palm print, and forearm imprints for analysis. Now, I understand there are a lot of questions about motive. I assure you that all leads, tips are being fully investigated. As of this morning, we have received more than 130 tips. We thank the community for that. The FBI has brought every resource to bear.
This man, just so you're aware, there is a nationwide manhunt for this fucker. This is as bad as the Boston bombings. They are gonna find you.
And we will continue to do so throughout the course of this investigation. The FBI's mission is to protect the American people. It's to uphold the Constitution of the United States.
And you know what's really sad about this? Is that I promise you that man didn't even have security. Because he was just a TikToker, YouTuber, you know? He was just a normal guy that just so happened to get really famous off of what he was doing. Became really close with President Trump. He didn't think that he would need Secret Service to watch his back just for talking about what he believed in. He always showed up with the biggest smile on his face, knowing that it was just another beautiful day. No matter how tired he was, no matter how much he probably didn't want to roll out of bed that morning. He showed up with a smile and continued to crack open some skulls. You know what I'm saying? Whenever your voice, when your beliefs are silenced in a society, the society is sick like cancer. I think that the crackdown has only just begun with this. I do. I think that things are about to get a lot rougher for these sick individuals that need mental help, that are advocating for violence online. I think that y'all's rock bottom is about to get a lot more rockier.
The attack on the First Amendment is an attack on the very foundation of our democracy. That is why we will relentlessly pursue this case and the shooter until we find him. We also continue to grieve with the family and the community. It's our community.
That's right. Charlie Kirk wasn't just nobody. He was an American. He was an American speaking his thoughts and opinions, and he is dead because of it. That's what matters.
If you have any video or images from the shooting, we ask you to please submit them to our digital media tip website at www.fbi.gov/Utah Valley Shooting.
I want to find the videos, and I've seen them. Hold on. Because there is some pictures. Charlie. Hold on. Where's it at? There's pictures. There it is. Right there. There we go. This is the one I was looking for right here. This is the footage that came out minutes after the shooting happened.
Is here. I know, Governor, you've been at these Turning Point USA events.
This is footage of the shooter, what they believe is the shooter, and where he was.
His spirit, the energy, it's just incredible what they've taken away.
No question. And, you know, on the one hand, it's immensely sad when you see someone 31 years old, beautiful young wife and young kids taken from us in this way. But I got to tell you, my sadness when I heard the news has been overcome with anger. I'm very angry that you had a guy that dedicated his life to taking the ideas that we all believe in and bringing them to inhospitable environments, the college campus. You know, people talked about him running for office.
You're
He
good,
could have gotten
man.
elected to some red legislative district. He wouldn't have had nearly the impact. He chose to go in the places where he knew he was going to get pushback, but he was dedicated.
Mr. Tin Man, bro, literally put a target on his own back and neck, actually, for what he did. Man, get the fuck out of here, you piece of shit. Get the fuck out of here. So this piece of shit in chat, in the comments, bro literally put a target on his own back, his neck, actually, in parentheses, for what? He did... Fucking retard can't even spell. For what he did, I don't feel bad for him. Hey, get the fuck out of here. A fucking retard. It's the dumb fucks like that. Dumb fucks like that, man.
This idea that, you know what, I have a right to speak my mind. I want to change your mind. You can ask me tough questions. I'm going to be respectful and civil, but I'm going to tell you what I believe. And that's what he was doing when he got assassinated for political purposes.
That's right. He was. He was just a talker, man. He wasn't even political. He wasn't even part of anything. He just talked. That's all he did. So you mean to tell me that you're advocating for the death of somebody just because they talk their feelings, and then what? They get a following, and then he just deserves to die? Fuck you.
I think he
Fuck
left
off.
a big legacy. Obviously, it's going to shatter the family, but this is a big wound for this nation because a Republican government cannot endure if we cannot have situations where it's safe to disagree, where you can actually go and give a different perspective. But we've seen people get shut down on college campuses. We've seen violence, not approaching this level, on college campuses. And then this event, I think, really gets to the heart of whether Republican government can long survive. So I'm very angry at what happened today. Obviously, they got to catch this guy, and we need a very quick death penalty prosecution.
I agree.
I don't want to see this take forever and a day. We need justice for this.
So we had two guys, suspects, in custody. They've both been released. It's a very dicey situation out there. As you know, the guy that murdered those 4 kids in Idaho, he got all the way across the country in a car after. So I think the FBI had some luck here and worked their tails off.
And in because the crowd dispersed, no one knew, what they were still think he had to seem like he was in some type of.
That's the footage. That's who they think is who did it right there. See that?
Sniper Overwatch position. Reports I saw was a couple 100 yards. That's something that somebody should have seen him set up. There should be some evidence of this. So I hope that they're able to piece that together very, very quickly.
The hostility that you're seeing on these campuses, I mean, we joke about it because sometimes it's a little silly, but now it's not silly. I mean, you'd never expect this in some.
You see, that's the big thing that a lot of people aren't saying. XQC did talk about it a little bit. Whenever you're sitting there advocating for this violence online, and even that jackass that just got in my comments, well, he had a viewpoint and he's dead because of it. I don't feel bad for him. Like, what are you even trying to accomplish by saying that? So because you have your viewpoint, so it's okay for someone to go to your house and kill you? You do realize that's a double-edged sword, right? You understand the kind of cycle that makes. You understand the kind of rhetoric that could lead to. The kind of death and intolerance to just... That mentality is a cancer, and it needs to be cut out of the United States of America. It needs to be ID'd with online ID. They need to go to your house, and they need to forcibly remove you from the United States. 100%. You shouldn't just be okay with painting a target on your back because you want to go out and use your freedom of speech. That's not how this country works. And if you think it is, you don't deserve to be a part of it. People have fought and died for that amendment. That's not how this works, Guy.
Rough neighborhoods in urban America. You don't expect this in a college campus in Utah?
No, but I think...
Especially not for somebody who was just expressing freedom of speech. He had no political gain from this. None. He wasn't running for mayor. He wasn't a fucking politician. He wasn't running for president. He was just a guy that liked to express his opinions. No different than Bernie Sanders was whenever he was down there parading around, helping out during, like, the protests. And he's dead for it. He's fucking dead, boys. He's gone.
Flows from this intolerance to opposing ideas. One of the things we've done in Florida is say students are going to be held accountable if they are interfering in a graduation ceremony or shouting down a speaker, because that's not behavior that's conducive to a free exchange of ideas. And so
isn't.
I think that's very important. Now, this is obviously a premeditated assassination to try to snuff out an opposing viewpoint. So yeah, this is the most extreme example we've ever seen, but the intolerance has been very real for a long time. And, you know, that's part of the reason I think why so many people respected Charlie, because he knew he was going into the lion's den when he's going on the campuses of these universities. He knew what he was in for. And yes, there are threats. He probably got threats almost every time he went. We've seen that happen in the past. His commitment to these principles, even when it's not easy, is something that we should all really give credit for.
I completely agree. In the country,
you know what I'm gonna love seeing is whenever these little piss stains that get in my comments and other people's comments that say that they don't feel sorry for this man start having their rights taken away like everybody else. Because if you think for a second the United States government is going to sit here and allow these rich people to keep getting killed, you got another thing coming. The United States government will crack down on this. He already has. Trump has already cracked down hard. There's a nationwide manhunt to find this person. He's sending the United States Marines to LA and Chicago. He's not sending the National Guard. He's sending the Marines. If that doesn't scare you, I'm sure he's got more coming. You want to sit here and talk about going into the lion's den? This isn't Rome. You shouldn't be scared or have to wear a bulletproof vest and neck armor just to give a speech. For nothing. It was literally for nothing. It was just to have a talk. It was just to talk. So you mean to tell me that every time someone gives a TED talk or says a joke on stage, it's okay to kill them? Come on. What kind of country do you live in? It's crazy.
You need more debates. You need more free exchanges of ideas. The left has to come over here and listen for once, and they can throw out ideas. We need to listen. God knows we listen and we've heard enough. But to kill somebody because you don't like what they're saying,
That's un-American.
We're done with that. And there will be consequences for this.
There will be. And I look forward to it. And if I have to give up some of my American rights to see these people get what's coming to them, then so fucking be it. Enough. I've had enough of this. I've had enough of it. I'm done with this. I'm tired of seeing these idiots continue to back these terrorists that have invaded our country. I'm done with it. I'm done. I'm sick of seeing this. I'm sick of dealing with it. I'm sick of being around it. I'm tired of not being able to park my car in the fucking apartment complex in fear of it being broken into. And I'm tired of people that get on the fucking social media whenever Trump starts cracking down with the National Guard saying, well, this is a law state. Who cares? You've got people that are getting up on stage getting attacked because of how they feel and think. You want to talk about a violation of the Constitution? Maybe you should get your own copy of the Constitution and read that bitch. This is crazy.
I was a congressman
this
just
is insanity.
years ago and just narrowly got out of the congressional baseball field when you had a deranged gunman shoot Steve Scalise and others. And he did that because he was a leftist and he didn't like that there were Republicans practicing baseball. And I'm just thinking to myself, like, this is a charity baseball game and you have someone that's so deranged and so filled with hate that he just wants to go out there and start spraying bullets around a field.
Mm-hmm.
But that is just the situation that we see.
Don't even just think about the fact that he's dead. You remember that Trump was also shot at and a man died protecting his family. And there were people that were okay with that. The hell with that, man. No. Fuck you. Fucking human scum is what you are. Here you go. Look, there he is. You see him? You see him? Look, there he is. I see you. We don't have a gun problem. You can't say we have a gun problem. I can't stand this mentality. This mentality of, oh, we have a gun problem. You take the guns away. You find videos like I covered where a man went into a Target and started stabbing people. And you know how that stopped? A veteran with a gun stopped a stabber. Other countries don't have guns and there's still murder. Luigi Mandalone, he 3D printed a fucking gun and shot and killed a CEO. It's not a gun problem. It's a retard problem is what the fuck it is. And I look forward to watching Trump cut it out like a cancerous cell and get it out of here. That's what the problem is. It's these people that have been brainwashed into thinking that this kind of violence and rhetoric is okay because it's not being censored online. Here's the crazy thing. I fucking curse and I say fuck, 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 fuck 30 fucking times in a video and I barely get ads. Some motherfucker can talk about killing somebody openly online and nothing happens to them. No censorship whatsoever. I hope Trump passes so many fucking laws that cracks down on social media that it's barely even usable. That's what I hope. You want something to censor? You goddamn useless fucks. Censor that. Luigi Mandalone didn't have access to a firearm and he still killed somebody. Here, I'll even show you. Hold on, I've got something better for you. Check this out. This is a gun that was used in a country where you're not allowed to have guns to kill a senator. Handmade. And it killed a senator. Pro-Hamas mobs. This is a real gun. Look it up.
Like,
You take the guns away, they'll find something else. They'll use a fucking bow and arrow. It's a fucking stick with some string.
How can you tweet shit like this and have takes like that like you're a sensible person? Brother, you
This didn't attempt to kill somebody. This killed somebody. They're dead.
burn through.
You can claim it's a gun problem all you fucking want. It's not. It's a people problem. It's a terrorist problem, is what it is.
All the charitability that anybody could ever give anybody when it comes down to violence.
It's already hard to just go out and kill somebody. You think that it's easy to find and plan out weeks before somebody gets there how you're going to kill somebody? No. You have to plan your escape route. You have to plan how you're going to do it. You have to plan when it's going to be there, what time it's going to be, the wind direction. Bro could have used a potato gun for all we know. He could have put bombs underneath the table he sat on. He had no actual security. He had like concert security to keep people off the stage, but he didn't have people to sit there and actually like look forward to an active shooter. They didn't expect that. That would be like putting up presidential security for a fucking comedian. You can't pre-plan for something like this.
He has burned through all of it. I don't give a shit what the fuck the quote is. I don't care. This is fucking weird. I don't give a fuck. He can be fucking tweet at Hitler. I don't give a shit.
When somebody goes out and is actively trying to take somebody's life, they're not going to care what they have to do it. It could have just been somebody from the crowd with a knife that hopped the fence and continued to stab him in the neck. The idea that removing guns will solve this problem, it's blind. It's not the truth. This problem will continue to exist. It'll make it a little harder, but if somebody doesn't care about their own life and is willing to assassinate a public figure, they're going to do it regardless. Hold on. What was it? What was it? Is there any more news on this? Professional hit, says ex-FBI agent. Okay. We gotta move on from Charlie Kirk. Don't worry, there's a lot more, though. Well, not really. We do, but we don't. We're gonna watch Asmon. Asmon's been dealing with his dad. To give you an idea of how big this is a pretty big deal. He hasn't been live in some time now. He had to take some time away from his really sick dad to make this video. So let's get it.
Guys, it's me again, and it's been a little while. Just before I get into the main topic of the video, I want to explain why there haven't been any videos. My dad has been in the hospital for the better day, and I was able to... Blood is spurting out. I didn't even know it could do that. And it was absolutely fucking horrifying to see something like that happen in front of a massive audience of people. Now, if you don't know who Charlie Kirk is, Charlie Kirk has been a pretty noteworthy, controversial guy. He's a conservative. He goes to a lot of college campuses, does live debates. This is a pretty popular format nowadays, and Charlie Kirk has been popularizing it and utilizing it now for many years. And he was even featured in South Park recently because of it. Charlie Kirk definitely is not a super radical right-wing person, but I would say that he's more of the...
You should know about this, though. You're young. You want to know about this because this could be the reason why American rights are being taken away in future. This could be the reason why you won't be able to attend any more YouTube streams whenever online ID gets implemented and cracked down on hardcore. This has shaken America to its core. This is a violation of so many constitutional rights by its own people. The government has no choice but to act upon this. Not from just the Americans like me advocating, but for the people who need this protection. People like Charlie Kirk who needed this protection and it failed them. That leave behind a family.
Moderate to, kind of extreme right-wing. Very, very, I would say, lukewarm, though, in my opinion. At least especially, and this is where we're going, especially compared to now. And what I think is going to happen...
And that's the problem, is it was always, it's okay to just talk about it. But whenever you sit there and talk about it in front of 30 or 40,000 people, one of those people, it only takes one for them to go out and actually do this, and you've got a huge problem on your hands.
Now, because obviously, these shootings like this don't really happen inside of a vacuum.
They don't.
They never do.
There's always an echo chamber. There's always somebody talking about it, and they're hearing themselves right back from the audience. Always.
Never have. And I think that the situation that we have right now is that there is a tremendous amount of political violence that is advocated for, promoted, and allowed to exist on social media.
Yep, there it is.
Has turned up the temperature in all political conversations, all social conversations.
Well, think about it. You have Democrat people or other senators running in the middle of in the middle of them passing a bill and making a scene because of the cameras and then getting dragged out. You have all these people acting out online and not hitting any repercussions because of the bias, banning on Twitch. This is huge. This is a long time coming. Big surprise that this happened. It's like when you advocate for something, whenever you say that your truck is about to fall off a cliff, and it inches closer every day, and eventually it falls, and you're surprised, and it's like, Pikachu surprise face. Well, what do you think was going to happen, idiot?
All discourse on the internet in general to a point where...
Asmon is not back. He just took some time away from his dad to make this video. This is big.
Almost unrecoverable. You have people that are out there all the time advocating for violence, advocating for people to get killed. Somebody needs to take care of this guy. Somebody needs to deal with this. I wish he were dead. Won't somebody do it? The 8647, all of the crypto messaging and all the doxing, right? Why do you dox somebody? Why do you post a person's home
That's
address?
what they were doing to the ICE agents. They were doxing the families.
It's to make other people that are insane, like the person who killed Charlie Kirk, it's to give them the ammunition they need to kill that person. and to put that person's life in danger. That's why they're doing it. And so that's the reason why they want to find out the identities of ICE agents. That's the reason why they want to find out the identities of Tesla owners, like at the beginning of the year. It's so they can destroy their car and destroy their lives.
That's right.
And this isn't necessarily a one-sided thing. I think that in the last 5 years or so, especially since BLM, it's been a like 90% left-wing thing, but that doesn't mean that the 10% right-wing people are right either. But I do think that now you're going to see a lot more right people. But the issue is that
that's kind of the thing also. I remember a couple weeks ago I was talking about us being on the brink of civil war. You realize that this is the third time now. The third time that they have attempted to assassinate a political speaker, showing their freedom of speech. This time they succeeded. How many of these sick freaks are going to show up with guns to these events before and fire before somebody fires back? That's the question you need to be asking yourself now.
A lot of these social media companies have expressed literally zero desire to even do the bare minimum of moderation. I think that two of the worst actors are Twitter or X and Reddit. Both of these platforms are full of a bunch of extremist nut jobs that not only should have their accounts banned, but they should probably be put in mental institutions.
I agree.
And I think that now I find it to be kind of interesting taking a step back for a week or so and seeing how many people are coming around to the inevitable reality that this is the only path forward. There are so many people in society now that are just completely unhinged, under-medicated, and really just completely insane that you can't have a person like that running wild out.
And then you got governors trying to lower the numbers of people in prisons, which is insane. Why? If that's where they need to be, then that's where they need to be.
Society, they cause problems for themselves, not to mention everybody else around.
Because at the end of the day, we don't have to sit here as a society. We don't need to be catering to these sickos, these freaks that are advocating for violence. We need to be catering to the people that are doing what they need to be doing in their society to make it better. That are not going around and stealing and looting and killing people. We need to cater to those, not to the people that are doing these negative, these acts of violence to people. We need to worry about keeping the people that want to be safe and want to go to work and want to do right by their community. Those are the people we need to keep safe. Not these criminals, these murderers, and these rapists that these places keep letting go after they've been caught.
Them. And I think that the society, we need to have an honest conversation about how to deal with these people in a way that, and I'll be real, I don't really care about the people that are crazy.
I agree.
Their well-being and the way that, things are for them. Of course, obviously, I wouldn't want it to be bad, but it's certainly not important. What's really important is all of the people who aren't crazy.
And that's the thing is, like, if they're going to be sentenced to life in prison, then they need to be working. Honestly, if they want to go out and kill somebody and then get life in prison, they need to work. I think that there should be. I think that those 475 illegal immigrants that Hyundai lost, if you have 475 life sentenced workers that make no money, I would consider that just as good. Honestly. You want to go out and kill somebody? Okay.
sure that people that are not crazy, that are good actors, that are law-abiding citizens,
Yep.
are able to live a life of peace.
That's right.
A life of prosperity, and a life without fear of going on the subway, for example, as at the recent.
Yeah. A lady escaped a war zone from Ukraine and Russia just to be stabbed to death in a fucking subway on her way home after work by a homeless man.
Event as
How
well.
many like clear symptoms do you need to see the cancer?
And I think
Come
that
on.
every single person in the world deserves to live in a place like that. And I don't want to see.
And what's crazy is they tried to let that fucker out. They had to charge that son of a bitch federally to lock him up.
Turn into a PvP server, and it sure seems like it is. And I think that in order to prevent that from happening, we need to have honest conversations about what do you do with people that, get arrested 14 times. And until we can stomach the idea of solving problems like that before they happen, we're going to keep having problems.
Yep.
And I think that with Charlie Kirk, it's very obvious that the amount of, political violence and advocating for political violence that's happening on the internet.
That's the problem. That's honestly, because you're not going to go up to somebody at work and immediately start advocating for this because they're going to look at you like you're fucking crazy. They need to start filtering this out. This calling to violence. The government needs to crack down hard on this on all social media platforms, period. If you want to advocate for the death of somebody, your account needs to be permabanned, no matter what you have.
Has turned up the temperature.
And if these social media sites don't want that, then ban it out of the fucking country. Get it out of here. Freedom of speech is one thing. Advocation for death and violence is completely different. That is not a right as an American. That's a right as a prison inmate.
Created an environment and a culture where this type of behavior is normal. And not only is it normal, but it's actually encouraged.
Mm-hmm.
And the problem is that now people are acting on it. And you're starting to see this happen, and I think it's going to continue getting worse.
Oh, it absolutely
I don't
is.
think Charlie Kirk is going to be the last one.
Nope.
But I think that we will look at Charlie Kirk's death and see it as a turning point in this topic. And what I'm really trying to get at here with this entire point is that right now we are at a extremely pivotal moment. And I think that what's going to end up happening is that right-wing people are not going to continue to turn the other cheek. They're not going to continue to just, this is just a crazy left-wing radical. I think you're probably going to see right-wing
dude, that
people
thing looks
doing
sick.
the
Why
same
is the
thing
tip
to left-wing
broken?
people. And honestly, while I don't think this is a good thing, I certainly don't really feel that sorry for them. Because a lot of left-wing people have no problem advocating for violence.
That's right.
Or at least using coded language in order to it. And to the extent that you try to, you're insulting the intelligence of anyone that you're speaking to. And I think that now you're going to start seeing a lot of right-wing people end up doing this to left-wing people now even more. Because it's very clear that these social media platforms are not going to moderate this behavior. The FBI, for whatever reason, just refuses to deal with or have any degree of accountability for dealing with these obvious terrorists that are in the country. And because of that, I think you're going to start seeing an uptick of violence from right-wing people as well.
That's right.
And this is going
Remember though, they fired the first shot. I'm neither. I'm right and wrong. This is wrong.
to be, in my opinion, I don't really think the word is justified because it's not justified, but the word is expected. I think it's going to be expected. The fact is that, again, you bring a knife to a gunfight, you're going to lose. And don't be surprised when you keep bringing guns to gunfights and then somebody else decides to start shooting back.
That's right.
I think that's what's going to happen.
I think he's right.
I think this is
I think that this is the start of what could be a civil war. And a couple of weeks ago I had talked about it, and I thought it might happen with the Epstein files, but he said I was crazy. You said I was crazy. You said there's no way. Well, you didn't say I was crazy. You said there's no way it would happen. This is bad stuff. This is bad, bro. It only goes downhill from here.
Shit quality on my phone. But I just have a lot of thoughts about what's going on in the world right now. You know, I got a chest and sternum tattoo today for 4.5 hours, and I thought that was going to be the most pain that I felt today. And then, well, in case you didn't check the
He's been crying
news
too.
or Twitter, or God forbid you check Blue Sky, Charlie Kirk was assassinated live in front of hundreds of people with a bullet to the neck for about 25 minutes. People thought there might be a chance of him surviving. Anybody who saw the footage would know that was definitely not going to be the case. Recommend you not look into it if you're squeamish.
They scrubbed the video. It's no longer online. They removed most of it.
We've seen a lot of death lately, whether that be the multiple white women who have been slaughtered like dogs on public transit or in parks. And you have Charlie Kirk, who was assassinated with a bullet to the throat. What's happening in the world right now is deeply unsettling. It has really slowly started to change me how awful the world is right now. And by the way,
I know that feeling. I know exactly what he's talking about. It's hard not to go off and advocate for the death of people. You have to be better than them. You have to be. You have to want to strive to be better. It shows that your cause is more worth fighting for.
Blue Sky, yes, in fact, Charlie's death is being celebrated by far too many people for me to be comfortable with this fact. In case you don't know who Charlie is, he was a right-leaning political commentator. Some might even say he was a far-right political commentator because he's not supporting terrorism, so that means he's a fucking Nazi. Oh my God. Yeah. Charlie Kirk was one of the few political commentators who really kept it fair. And what I mean by that is he's a commentator who wouldn't be there to shove his opinions or his thoughts or his beliefs down your throats or anybody else's. He is someone who believed in a civil discussion where he would sit down with a peer, where he'd sit down with someone in opposition to him. Regardless of your viewpoint, he was very much down to talk. I've learned a lot from Charlie Kirk recently, where I watched his debate and discussion upon gun safety. And it's very nice to see someone who was willing to put aside their political belief differences and just talk to people as people and come to a mutual understanding of why you believe this, why I believe that, and maybe we can meet somewhere in the middle, or maybe we'll stay on opposing sides. Regardless,
that's the whole reason why the Constitution was made. That's the whole reason why we have these amendments. It's not to protect people. It's there to protect people from the people that want to do harm. Like, if I say some nasty shit that you don't like, that amendment's not there for you, it's there for me. You can't just go out and violate this amendment because then they're just going to take it away.
they were just there to present their beliefs.
That's right. That's it. That is all he was there to do.
I believe the first talk on what he was doing at the college campus, which they're calling a school shooting, by the way. It's not a school shooting. If you call it a school shooting, you're a retard. It's an assassination. It was a very intentional,
even the FBI director noticed in a prior title of a video said that it was he knew what he was doing.
Deliberate assassination. He was talking about what was going on between, the black on white crime, I believe. I haven't seen the full video yet. And I believe he was about to talk about the transgender shootings And well, how apropos that's when that happened.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that the feeling of Blue Sky celebrating a man's death because you don't share their political views. You are a disgusting fuck.
I agree.
No one, and I mean this, no one deserves to die because they have a different political belief than you.
Thank you. That's what this entire stream has pretty much been about today. It doesn't have anything to do about who he was. It has everything to do with what he stood for and the fact that he is protected under the U.S. Constitution. And you want to sit here and call people like Elon Musk, like Donald Trump Nazis, and you actually want to follow through with what a dictatorship does? Fuck yourself. You clearly don't know what you're talking about or what you're doing.
You can jail them if you want, if it's truly that severe and they act on it, but it's just a guy who didn't do anything wrong other than present a different point of view and was honestly the most civil person to do it.
He never advocated for violence, ever.
No one else was willing to debate anybody in the way that Charlie was. No one else was willing to sit down and talk to people and try to get to a mutual understanding like Charlie was. He wasn't a radical extremist. He was a very reasonable man. And
that's what I really didn't like. Whenever I first saw the title started popping up, I saw a bunch of like radical or extremist dies. Like a lot of the news podcast, the news media people were doing that, like Fox and stuff. And I noticed that it changed the minute they found out he was dead. Stop using these extreme cases. You are desensitizing a lot of people by doing this. And that's why this is happening now.
he was killed, slaughtered. And I'm sorry, guys, from the Irna Zarutsky footage to the Charlie Kirk footage, I'm deeply unsettled. However, I'm very grateful that I am still alive, and I want to let you know that if you're out there, never take your life for granted and appreciate those you have around you before they're gone, because right now there are people being hunted like dogs, and it's deeply unsettling. I think the reaction from the news is an absolute fucking joke.
It is.
People are trying to sympathize with killers. To Carlos Brown, who killed Irna, they're saying, yeah, but what made him like that? Well, you don't understand how he
It doesn't
felt.
matter what made him be like that. What matters is that he went out and killed somebody. That's what matters.
What the fuck are we doing? What are we doing where we are sympathizing with fucking murderers?
Mm-hmm.
What are we doing when websites are protecting people from being called fat and ugly and a whore?
But you can advocate for the death of a fucking human being. Thank you, Tectone. I was literally just saying that. Thank you, Tectone.
More than we're punishing people for calling for the deaths of our senators, as well as the citizens, as well as radicalizing audiences to enact violence while recording themselves breaking the fucking law.
And it matters because of how many viewers they have.
Are we all seeing the same fucking shit online? Are we... Guys, I have been banned for nearly 2 months total over the past 4 months for calling people names, yet there are people out there calling for the deaths of other people, political figures, and attempting to radicalize and weaponize their fucking audience to hurt people and kill them, who have gone unpunished. What the fuck are we doing? What is possibly going on in the world today? This is disgusting.
It is. It's sick.
It is. It's absolutely fucking disgusting. It's pathetic. It's a joke. I can literally feel in real time myself becoming radicalized because this country is forcing me to. These people are forcing me to because the people in charge are a fucking joke. And it's everywhere. It's everywhere. The system is broken. I don't believe it's beyond repair. But this needs to change.
I think he's absolutely right. It's past time for this to be changed. I thought maybe the Democrats would have a better idea of what change should look like. But then they took it over for 4 years and watched it turn from turmoil to hell. He's absolutely right. It's past time for this to change. It is. It's long overdue. I need to use the bathroom. We'll save the legal mindset one for tomorrow. Jesus, you think they got enough hashtags on this hoe or what? Let me use the bathroom real quick. Okay. Let's see. Okay. Let's get to it. Here we go. Boom.
U.S. Marines officially in L.A. with a mission to protect federal. The protests in Los Angeles fall far short of rebellion, ordering control of the troops be returned to California Governor Gavin Newsom.
He is not a monarch, he is not a king, and he should stop acting like one.
Maybe he'll stop doing that whenever you stop, letting your citizens get killed, huh?
But then a win for the Trump administration when an appeals court paused the ruling for now. The president praising the decision, writing, without the deployment, the city would be burning. We saved LA. Meanwhile, protests here now stretching for a week with a nighttime curfew still in place in downtown.
Marines have just been spotted at the other federal building. What is your take? There's no reason for them to be here.
It's funny that they say that whenever they literally rioted, closed off the entire interstate, and then burned 3 cars into the fucking pavement. I love the mentality behind these people. Where do these people come from? Like, what planet do they hail from? I need to know.
Marines being out here is laughable. The fact that they're out here for this, it's again been very peaceful on our end.
DHS saying protests have not stopped ICE immigration enforcement raids, saying agents are targeting people here illegally who have criminal records.
We've seen under this last week some operations that have been working to bring in criminals that have been out on our streets for far too long.
This video showing ICE agents raiding a home in Huntington Park. Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem there with agents yesterday. The man they were looking for not home. His wife saying he's undocumented and served prison time for a violent offense, though she wouldn't give details.
Throughout the whole process, they have to see me naked.
Of course they're not. Of course she's not going to give details. We wouldn't want to know exactly what he did, you know.
I'm getting changed. I feel humiliated. I'm pregnant. I'm scared. I'm shaking.
Meanwhile, in New Jersey, a manhunt tonight for 4 detainees who escaped from an immigrant detention center in Newark. DHS saying the men were here illegally from Colombia and Honduras. All have criminal records, including arrests for aggravated assault, burglary, and making terror threats. Local officials say the men broke through a dormitory wall in the facility.
Liz Kreutz joins us now live. Liz, talk to our viewers about what the Marines exactly are doing there in LA tonight.
Yeah, well, Tom, we should say the Marines are not here at this federal building where the protests have been centered. Instead, they are at one federal building about 11 miles away from here, protecting that property. The military says they are allowed to temporarily detain individuals before then handing them over to civilian law enforcement. Tom.
Liz Kreutz for us. Liz, thank you. We thank you for watching. And remember, stay up.
I think the U.S. Marines is just a start. I do. I really do. I don't think this is going to be the end of it for a while. So that was, let's see, the nationwide manhunt. Go to the next one. Take that, save that to long video. Law enforcement experts issue warning to political commentators after Charlie Kirk's death. It's sad that the FBI director has to warn people of certain beliefs not to be careful. It's like if you believed in God in church and you had to go through a warning of, well, be careful whenever you're doing your talk today, Father, because there's a chance that some sick person could roll up in there with an AK.
About outdoor political events, Kirk held no official position in the Republican Party or Trump administration, but was a strong supporter. Eyewitness News reporter Kevin Ozebek is live in the newsroom and has more from a retired FBI agent on his warning.
You know why he didn't hold a strong... He didn't have a stance on which side he was on, because he didn't believe in some of the things that the Republicans believed, and he didn't believe that some of the things that the Democrats believed. Like, for one, he didn't want religion in schools. Most Republicans do.
Political commentators. Kevin.
Well, Giovanna, as one federal law enforcement source told me today, threats against politicians have been common for some time now, and they remain common. But here's why this shooting today is different. Charlie Cook, who was murdered today, held no elected position. He had no legislative power, and he also had no power to sign any executive order. He's just an activist, or was just an activist. But this is all coming as the FBI has been warning now for years that we are in this heightened time of threats. Just last year, around the same time when then-candidate Trump was shot in Pennsylvania, the FBI sent out a warning that said it is seeing an increase in threats of violence targeting government officials.
And you know how you get rid of that? By these social media platforms doing their jobs and banning these people instead of worrying about calling somebody fat and ugly. They should be worried about threats of violence on these platforms.
Of worship, schools, and medical facilities, and that is just to name a few. Today, I spoke to a former FBI LA field office agent named Bobby Chacon. He says if he was advising an elected official or political activist right now, he would not want them speaking in any open outdoor venues. Take a listen.
If my job was to keep you 100% safe, that would be my advice. And I hate to say that. Certainly not an open forum where, like we saw Trump shot in Pennsylvania or Charlie Kirk killed today.
Such grim advice there. And for more perspective now on just how high the threat level is, listen to these numbers released just last week by House Speaker Mike Johnson. He says last year, U.S. Capitol Police looked into 9,000 threats against members of Congress. So far this year, we're in September now, there's already been more than 14,000 threats Capitol Police have had to look into. So just surging numbers there.
Look, you can disagree with somebody all you want. You can. But that doesn't give you the right to just go out and kill somebody. You're crazy. You need to be put away. You don't deserve to be in the general population.
The newsroom, Kevin Osman.
That's crazy, man. You're crazy. Hold on, give me a second. Oh, I'm dropping stuff. Watching, hearing live. Blowers don't care. Charlie Kirk. This counts. Pete. Gunman blended with college students. Weapon recovered. This was 29 minutes ago. Here we go.
The manhunt continues for the person responsible for killing conservative political activist.
What's really terrifying about this is they don't even know who the hell he is. That's the one thing that they have, is they don't know who it is.
Kirk was speaking at an event at Orem's Utah Valley University on Wednesday afternoon when he was struck in the neck by a bullet. Witnesses describe what they saw.
He just fell backwards and then we ducked and hid behind some stairs.
After a few seconds, people started saying, like, oh my goodness, Charlie was shot. I saw him fall to the ground, and that's when I realized this is a serious...
I remember my fiance, because I brought it up to her after I found out. I immediately told that to my fiance, and then I got a message from Puddin', and I was like, no, man, no way. Because, like, I found out about it, and then I was like, I was still kind of in shock, and I was like, I don't know what to think about it, because I know that his freedom of speech was definitely violated, and that's not okay in any circumstance. But the fact that they don't know who this guy is, and all they have recovered is the firearm, makes me even more upset.
Situation.
As the gathered crowd fled, Kirk was rushed to a hospital where he was...
what I was trying to say is that there was a footage of... She said she saw footage of this lady that was, like, clapping, and then you can see him, like... That, like, reality of being happy that he's on stage and clapping to horror in her face whenever she sees, Charlie Kirk drop. Just that realization that all of a sudden fear, she said it kind of shook her a little bit.
Later pronounced dead. His death was announced by President Trump, who released a video statement from the Oval Office.
Because of this heinous act, Charlie's voice has become bigger and grander than ever before.
Trump has also called for flags at all federal buildings to fly at half-staff till Sunday. The 31-year-old Kirk founded the group Turning Point USA and is credited with driving young voters to support Donald Trump's presidential campaigns. His death is causing shockwaves across the U.S. political spectrum.
We can settle disagreements and disputes in a civil manner, and political violence must be called out, and it has to stop.
This is horrific.
I agree. I feel like if you want to get online and you want to advocate for the death of either the president or a senator or someone with political opposing views, the FBI needs to show up to your house and you need a psych eval. Honestly.
This is awful.
No
it is.
suspect
It's
has been
disgusting.
identified in Kirk's death. Authorities announced that 2 people of interest in the shooting had been detained. They were later released. The FBI is assisting with the investigation. This is a developing story. This is Inside Edition Digital.
I really hope that they find this guy.
The only information we have on the suspect, the possible shooter, is taken from closed circuit TV here on campus. We do know dressed in all dark clothing.
Where the shot came from?
The shot came from here on campus, from a location at a fair roof. Potentially from a roof, yes. A longer distance shot from a roof.
This is a Fox News alert right now, a frantic manhunt to find the assassin who killed Charlie Kirk on a college campus in Utah yesterday. 2 people were detained, but then they were ultimately released.
If I'm not mistaken, one of the people that got detained, like I had said earlier, this stream, was from a, it was because he was asking him a question about the transgender shootings, and then he had gotten shot. So it was like that. They just, just so happened to be the topic that he had asked, and then he had gotten shot. Doesn't necessarily mean that he was involved. So, like, unless they have factual evidence that puts that guy as an involvement, there's no reason to sit there and put him through any kind of, like, anything.
Former FBI agent Stuart Kaplan joins us now. Stuart, what can you tell us? This is what they told us. No mention of what the person was, who he is, or she is. Long rifle, perched atop a building east on the school's library. Person wearing jeans, a black.
Boys on YouTube, Nigel and Chad. I would click off of this topic, but the vertical stream is sitting at 545 click-through rate right now, so we're probably going to end up talking about this topic for the rest of the stream, if I'm being honest. I mean, it's shook. It's cursed is what this is. This topic has absolutely shaken America to its core. I think I should honestly dedicate the rest of the stream to this because it deserves it. The fact that his freedom of speech was violated is a complete and total disgrace to the Constitution. And anyone advocating for the death of any political figure, I feel like your constitutional rights should be voided. You don't deserve to be an American if this is how you believe. People fought and died for that Constitution, for that American flag, for you to sit here and advocate for the death of political figures and commentators. It's no different than someone on TV that you don't like, so you go out and kill them. What world do you live in? It's disgusting and disgraceful. It is.
Vest, a black mask. That's all we know.
Law enforcement is quite frankly scrambling right now to work backwards and try to identify first how this person gained access onto that rooftop. But what they do know, and I think their biggest concern, is this was a targeted attack. The target was Charlie Kirk. This same individual had the opportunity to inflict other mass casualties.
What really kind of drives me up the wall is all the comments. Let me see the comments to this video. I'm sure they probably removed quite a bit. Let me see the comments. Unless they removed... Yeah, they had to disable the comments, dude. Because so many people calling to violence.
This person chose to maintain his or her discipline. They got up.
I want to let you fucks know that if you decide to get into my channel's comments on my videos and you advocate for death and violence, I will easily remove and report you to YouTube. Keep your curse words in your mouth and out of my comments. Keep your negativity off my comments. And if you sit here and advocate for violence and you curse in my comments, I will report you. I will.
They took the shot and then they got out of there. That indicates that there was a survey prior to yesterday where this individual had the lay of the land to understand how to get onto this rooftop and then how to very quietly escape undetected at this point. That is a very difficult task for the FBI and other law enforcement partners to work.
That's so funny.
Through to try to get.
Oh my God, that's golden, bro! What a great way to bring some happiness.
At some indication of who this person may be.
Stuart, we all want this person to be caught. What is the FBI looking for? Because all we're hearing, like Brian said, person dressed in black. That's like every person.
Well, there's a lot of information that I'm sure that the FBI has. For way of example, we don't know whether or not the shooter left the weapon behind. We don't know whether or not a...
if you boys are liking the stream, hit the like button on it, please. You'll help out the channel. I cover big topics like this, so like anything that happens that's like going to break the internet, I'm going to be all over it. We're going to probably continue to cover this. Today's Thursday. Depending on how crazy this gets, we might have a Saturday stream. But I usually take the weekends off. But we're here every day, Monday through Friday, 8 to about noon. We might go a little later today, but nothing crazy because I have to get off and edit all these videos out. But
shell
still,
casing, the one bullet was discharged from the rifle. Was it a bolt action? If it was a bolt action, that means someone manually would have to discharge or eject that shell casing. Did they collect the shell casing? Have they sent it for fingerprint analysis or DNA analysis? Now that can be turned around in a very short period of time. That hasn't been disclosed to us with respect to the weapon, the shell casing, and of course today you're going to see an attempt to try to.
We have a Discord. You could also link videos there you want me to react to. We have a Discord, so check that out.
The bullet itself, because the bullet obviously went through Charlie Kirk. It has to end up impaled somewhere. They're going to try to locate that. They're going to try to work backwards. You're going to see them out on this venue with lasers to try to set up some sort of forensic trajectory to see exactly how this person was perched and try to then identify a profile. Was there any active threat against Charlie Kirk that, quite frankly, is not known to the public, and try to nail down if there were individuals that may be out there that they're aware of.
Stuart, give me an idea of the level of skill a sniper had to have to be able to pull off that shot.
Well, I mean, I feel like he hit his mark. I think this guy knew that if he were to hit Charlie in the head or in the stomach area, it wouldn't have been as effective. I think he was aiming for the neck. I think he was. I think he knew exactly what he wanted to hit, and he hit it. He has to have been some kind of sniper. They need to check the background of any of the U.S. military snipers that have been released maybe in the past 3 or 4 years and try to figure out who the hell this guy could be. He had to have been really good. He had to have been a really good crack shot to hit that.
Well, like I said,
he knew what he was doing. He left no trace. He was nowhere near it. Like, he knew exactly what he wanted to do, where he wanted to do it, and how he wanted to do it.
You take a look at the altitude or the elevation of the way Charlie Kirk was seated. He had a tent over him. And so when you back up, let's say 450 feet, 500 feet, 600 feet, that shot becomes more and more difficult because you're looking down at that target. That is why I believe it wasn't, quote unquote, a headshot. It was taken at the upper torso because the line of sight only exposed Charlie Kirk's upper torso area or the neck area. I think if the tent wasn't concealing Charlie Kirk's head, quite frankly, you would have seen this as a headshot. There is a degree.
I don't think that's true. And I'm going to tell you why. I'll tell you why. Because if you've ever played a game, I know this is a stupid analogy, but just hear me out, okay? Just bear with me. If you play Call of Duty and you try to, like, for fun, you know, you'll try to, if an enemy's head is in cover, or it doesn't even have to be caught, it could be any kind of first-person shooter game, and you know that you can shoot through the wood and hit the target, you're going to try and do it because you want to see if you can actually do it, right? I feel like it would have been the same instance. Especially if he had lighting behind him, you would have been able to see the shadow cast. But like I said, I believe that he was aiming for the neck. Because if he had been shot in the body, I think he would have lived. This guy was aiming for the most vital spot that he can hit. I really do think that.
Expertise, there is no doubt in my mind, this person is to some extent a professional. This was a professional hit by all accounts, especially by the fact that he had an opportunity to discharge that weapon multiple times randomly, but he chose to stay on target.
That's also another reason why I say that. Is because he shot and hit his mark and he left. He's done it before for sure. This guy has done this several times before.
How confident are you that they'll catch him?
He didn't take a second shot. He didn't try to shoot the down body. He took his shot. He knew he hit it, and then he left.
Well, let me tell you, the men and women of the FBI with their counterparts are the best in the world. I can tell you, with having Kash Patel at the helm, The FBI, and I've spoken to several agents that are now on their way to Utah. You have the best of the best in the world on this planet who are going to work 24 hours a day. They're going to find this guy. The biggest concern is this individual has shown that he is not willing to engage law enforcement. He doesn't want to be apprehended.
I mean, it doesn't have to be the president. Like, if you're saying it's an inside job, you do realize that there are plenty of Democrats that have more than enough money and resources to find somebody that could pull this job off. It doesn't have to be a Republican. It could be either side. That's the sad part about it.
Want to be engaged in a shootout. This is a very, very dangerous individual. The threat level to public figures, to include the president, as high as that threat level is, has been elevated exponentially since yesterday.
Stuart, you know, at first I thought, why would he wear black? Look at the buildings. But then I realized the roof is black. All right. And we have footage.
You could barely see him. You could. Whenever you looked right at him, you can kind of see a speck of somebody standing on the roof just before the shot was taken.
Point we'll show it of a guy walking around. We don't know if it's him. And we have a person commentating saying, what's that guy doing up there? And the other question would be, you got a black mask, you got a black vest, you need ammo, you have a rifle. Are there rifles, sniper rifles, high-level sniper rifles that could separate like a pool stick and be able to put maybe into a vest pocket so you can walk out of a place without saying, who's that guy with the gun?
No, I guarantee you what he did is he dipped the gun somewhere. He probably had, if this guy is as professional as the FBI seems to think he is, he did it without leaving any prints on anything. He most likely took the bullet casing with him, or he handled the bullet itself without actually touching the casing and leaving prints. This seemed like a very, very, very professional individual. I don't think they're just going to be able to find this guy. No one has any idea who this guy is, where he came from. I doubt he would actually go out of his way to talk about this. If anything, it was paid. Someone probably paid him to do this.
No question about it. You know, there are weapons that you can disassemble within seconds.
This is going to go down in history probably the same way JFK did. If they don't find this guy, it's gonna go down in history. It is. Absolutely. We will be reading about this in textbooks.
And certainly, again, someone would have the proficiency to be able to do that. Keep in mindset to then disassemble that weapon in a very short time span, put it in a bag, and extricate them off that rooftop.
That's right.
That is why, quite frankly, that weapon may have been left behind. We just don't know that. The FBI may be sitting on that information. They just don't want to publicly.
That's literally what I just said. Yeah, no, he most likely left that gun behind.
Make that available to us. But again, it's more consistent with the proficiency and the expertise of this shooter.
I don't know. I would be shocked if they didn't have a camera trail, because that's what happened with the Boston bombings, is they were able to trace all the shop cameras back to where they were no longer hiding their faces. This guy planned this out in a way that he probably avoided every camera he could, or he disabled them. I don't know how professional this guy is, but with how he handled himself with the shot and the weapon, I wouldn't be surprised if they don't find him. It would be disgusting if they didn't find him. Because if they find this guy, they can interrogate him for information and figure out who paid him. And we can get down to the nitty gritty of this. Honestly.
Stuart, excellent job. Thank you for your service over the years, and thanks for coming on and waking up this early. We appreciate it. If you have any information, if you have photos, if you have video, if you were there on the scene.
You might be onto something, you know, like bringing out the conspiracy, Andy. There's a good chance that if they don't have any video footage, it could be an inside job. You know, they can make the footage disappear. I mean, you could be onto something. I mean, Trump would definitely have good reason for doing it. it would spark, like, it wouldn't be his death that he'd have to worry about. It'd be, obviously, he wouldn't die, but he could, do an inside assassination so that way it sparks outrage and it allows him to enforce more laws, This was 2 hours ago.
There is a manhunt underway for the gunman responsible for assassinating political commentator Charlie Kirk while he spoke in front of a crowd yesterday at Utah Valley University. The 31-year-old was shot once in the neck 20 minutes after taking the stage for his American comeback tour. It was the first event for the fall for him. Officials say that the shooter fired from a nearby rooftop. President Trump announcing his death on Truth Social yesterday afternoon, saying no one understood or had the heart of the youth in the U.S. better than Charlie. The president
are the tragic consequences.
All this already.
Local police officials and Utah.
You guys over on the vertical stream, stick around. I'm gonna be making videos out of every video that we covered in this stream. It's all going up on the channel. If anything new comes out after the stream ends, then I'm most likely gonna be recording that off stream and then uploading it probably within hours.
We will find you.
They will. I'm hoping they do. The big thing that makes me kind of hesitant on saying that they will find him is the fact that they just don't have any information other than the weapon. They recovered the weapon, but they have nothing else currently.
We will try you, and we will hold you accountable to the furthest extent of the law. And I just want to remind people that we still have the death penalty here in the state of Utah.
The stream showing vertical is like, I'm just streaming to it's the same YouTube channel, it's just being streamed to two different things. The vertical stream just gets a little bit more views, that's all.
A huge outpouring of support for Kirk as hundreds of...
I don't think he has to worry about Utah, because whenever the FBI gets their hands on him, he's going to have a lot to answer for.
Thousands around the world pay their respects. Every single living president has offered their condolences, including Barack Obama, George W. Bush, and Joe Biden. The New York Yankees also holding a moment of silence in Kirk's honor. President Trump is set to attend tonight's game to commemorate 24 years since the 9/11 attacks. I want to bring in Fox News contributor and former...
What an interesting time to try and assassinate a political figure as well. I'm not going to say he's far left or far right, but just the fact that you're willing to violate an American's legal right in the Constitution of freedom of speech the day before one of the biggest terrorist attacks that ever hit the United States soil. You should know that if you're the shooter and they find a speck of dust that has the slightest hint of your odor, the FBI are going to swarm you like a hornet's nest. So you better make sure that you cross all your T's and dot all your I's. Because if they find you, they're going to cook you. And you're going to probably wish you were dead.
FBI Special Agent Nicole Parker. Nicole, there's an active shooter on the loose right now. One of the officials in that press conference from the FBI, what does an operation from the FBI of this magnitude look like, and what are they looking for?
So the FBI and all law enforcement, they definitely have their work cut out for them, Cheryl. This is a very difficult situation, but I have no doubt that with all hands on deck, this person will be brought into custody. What happens is the FBI in Salt Lake City, they are, working hand in hand with the Utah Department of Public Safety. The FBI is offering tactical, operational, investigative, and intelligence assistance.
I don't think we've had this many hands on deck since the Boston bombing. This guy really kind of gave them the slip. I'd imagine that the FBI directors don't really like that.
Local law enforcement right now. I can tell you that I spoke directly to individuals who are in law enforcement right now who said immediately it was all hands on deck. Email went out, hey, we need everyone's assistance, everyone, this is what we're gonna do, we need help, everyone report now. And that is what they are doing. And Cheryl, I think, when you don't catch the suspect initially then it does turn into a more deeper investigative stance that they have to take. This individual allegedly was on the roof. We've seen.
You do realize that there's a good chance if they catch this guy, he's going to jail for political terrorism or terrorism in general, because he did this knowing full well that it was politically charged, which falls under terrorism. This was a form of terrorism. I'm going to tell y'all that right now. There's a reason why the FBI is all hands on deck with this. It's because it was a form of terrorism.
The videos, I do believe that that is correct, on top of the low-C building at Utah Valley University from around 200 yards.
And for
from where
whoever
Charlie Kirk was.
paid this person to kill Charlie Kirk, once they get their hands, or if they get their hands on your shooter, they're not going to be far behind you. No matter who you are.
When he was just disgustingly and evilly taken from this world. That individual, who knows, that individual could have immediately shed the clothing that they were in, jumped off that roof, blended in with the crowd. Remember, there were thousands of people scurrying and running, and I've seen this happen in other mass shooting events. For me, it was the Parkland school shooting when the shooter literally left the scene and blended in with the crowd. So that is in
They found
Mourning,
them.
Utah. It is near Provo, Utah, near an airport. As a law enforcement officer, my mind goes to, what was their escape plan? Clearly, this individual has a very strong knowledge of the campus. You don't just get onto the roof of a university without having planned this out. I would be looking into who was at that university, who were the employees. I would be looking at every single employee who had
Yeah, they
access.
should be checking they'll probably be checking camera footage from like the past couple months and see if anybody news popped up or anybody random, or if anybody's been up to that roof, what they look like, what they were wearing, what they were doing.
Who would have known how to get up onto that roof? But again,
Because he must have been up there before. There's no way.
at this point, because it is now a manhunt, the most important thing, in my opinion, for the investigators is human intelligence. Cheryl, somebody knows this killer. Somebody knows them, and it's so important that if you see something, say something. If you've heard of anything, call 1-800-CALL-FBI. I know that the FBI is also asking for all digital evidence, all photos from
Yeah,
the
they're doing
scene.
the same thing that they did with the Boston bombing. That's how they found him. They took all the phone, the videos, all the videos from the phones. They took all the cameras in the shops around, and they traced it all the way back to where he had originally come from, or where they came from. It was two people. So you better. They're gonna find this guy.
Even if you think that what you have is not really substantial, call it in and let law enforcement take the pieces of the puzzle and hopefully put them together. But yes, this is going to be a very difficult task. But let's not forget how powerful the sensitive, law enforcement, we have very sophisticated investigative techniques. I'm not going to discuss them on air, but those are things that they are going to be working on right now, looking into any potential threats that he had, scrubbing all social media for all threats that might have been directed at Charlie Kirk, doing a search of all Google searches, any internet sites, things that they can piece together that link to that event itself, Charlie Kirk, that building. It sounds complex, but that is what they're going to have to do. They're going to have to dig in deep right now and do some full investigative work on finding this killer.
Nicole, so, okay, you mentioned a couple of key things I want to follow up with you. There was about 3,000 people there. It was an open area. I want you to listen to what one of the witnesses told us about what they saw.
The second guest that I talked to, before I went and asked him the question, what I was going to ask him, he was talking to him about how he was going to ask about transgenderism or something like that, but nothing about shootings. And this is the irony that came to me, which was like, right when he asked that, not like 5-10 seconds.
That's one of the reasons why the guy that asked the question was one of the first people that they pulled in. They immediately pulled that guy in that asked that question about the transgender and the mass shootings, because they really thought he had a hand in what was going on.
Later, he was shot. And not only that, right after that, someone confessed to it who had no weapon, which makes me think that it was clearly.
Oh yeah, no. If he's even still in the same in this country, I would be surprised. I mean, this happened, what, 18, 20 hours ago?
And that multiple people were involved.
That's one witness, that's his opinion, but the broader picture here is that those were young people with phones. And there is a lot of video. You mentioned the social media videos that many of us have seen, unfortunately, of what happened. But can investigators pull together the video? I've also seen video of a dark figure in black running across the roof. I mean, can't all of that be pieced together? Witness accounts and then, of course, the video to find out who this is, where they went. Are they still hiding in the neighborhood?
No, they're not. They're not going to be hiding in the
About
neighborhood.
that, and that is a very important question, Cheryl.
Bro's probably in like 6 states over by now. There's no way. There's no way. What the fuck is this?
President Trump is pressuring the European Union to impose 100% tariffs on China and India over their purchases of Russian oil. This is all in an effort to bring Vladimir Putin to the negotiating table and end the war in Ukraine. The EU, one of China's top trading partners, behind the United States, over 800
space. And this is
as east is east. Fears of the India-China-Russia alliance overblown. But you have comments.
Oh, look at that.
Joining me now, former FBI
There
Special
actually is
Agent
security
Jonathan
failure for this.
Gilliam. Jonathan, the FBI is going to be holding a press conference with local Utah police in about
How's
an
it going,
hour from
Case?
now. What does an investigation of this magnitude look like?
Well, it's more difficult now because they didn't do the proper threat assessments beforehand, and that's how this individual was able to get onto what I'm presuming is the roof of a building. But the fact that they were able to get up there, if they worked at the university or they had special access to get there, that will narrow the focus of that investigation. They're going to be looking at cameras.
I mean, I can see why the security was laxed. I mean, like, sure, he got threats, but to have that level of professionality for somebody who just talks, I just don't get it. I don't get it. I really don't.
Cameras play a huge role in these investigations.
Maybe it's because he's not the president, so like I would assume that a lot of assassins are like, yeah, no, I don't want nothing to do with that. But just because this guy was a talker,
This is new. We always come on here and talk about these things. But here's the big difference with this is that we are now 10 or 13, almost 24 hours past when Charlie was shot. And we've had multiple people that were arrested, and law enforcement told people that was the person. Even Kash Patel tweeted out saying that they had got the guy who took the shot and then had to recant that. And that was time, valuable time, that the force multiplier of the citizenry actually stood down.
I feel like that was a catastrophic failure on the police's part. Because those few hours helped this man get away. For sure.
Thinking that person was caught. So I think we need to take a step back in law enforcement and put down the Twitter or the X, and we need to start concentrating on utilizing the citizenry as a force multiplier. And I think that's going to be a huge benefit for law enforcement as they do that. Yesterday's press conference, one of the best that we've seen in the past years. He
delivered that press conference just like how the press conference was given with Pearl Harbor. The way he did this is going to make that speech is going to go down in history. You can hate the man all you want. You can hate Donald Trump's guts. With the things that he's done for this country and the people he stands for, they're going to go down in history. The amount of wars that he has solved through peace are going to go down in history that are going to probably make him one of the greatest presidents we've had. Whether we like it or not, Epstein files or not.
conferences have been abysmal. That was a good one. They gave what facts they had, and they moved forward. It wasn't a campaign speech. So I think that was good. But I think the investigation, as it goes forward, they're looking for any type of evidence that will lead them towards a shooter. And at this point, that's a very difficult thing because the individual is able to get up there and leave without anybody seeing or being able to identify him.
Jonathan, but we have multiple pieces of video. There were, 3,000 students. They all had their phones out. But also we have a 911 call. Listen to this.
Going to be wearing all black, black long gun, black tactical helmet, a black mask, possibly wearing a tactical vest and jeans.
That's the description of the suspect, Jonathan. They've got it.
Yeah, but see, that's the individual could have gone into that, back into a building, taken that off, and left with everyone as they were running out of that school.
Coffee guy.
Because that was the other thing. There was only 6 police officers that were there at that point in time, and apparently none of them were over there where the shooter was located. So as people ran for cover or to get out of there, it would have been very easy for that shooter to secrete his stuff back into a bag or somewhere in the building and then leave. So that makes it even more difficult. But the other thing they should be using is, which I'm sure that they are, is the trap and trace methods, looking at the toll records of all these phones and determining.
Oh yeah, I guarantee the FBI has probably told everybody that was there that they need to turn their phones in. A lot of these people would probably do it without hesitation because they don't want to get caught up in this whirlwind that's about to ascend upon this person. Because, like, if you don't want to turn your phone in, they can get your ass for aiding.
At any particular time.
Or there's another one.
That over the past year, these shooters have had cell phones with them, and those play a role in identifying where they moved once the
Breaking news this morning, a manhunt is underway for the gunman responsible for assassinating political commentator Charlie Kirk while he spoke at Utah Valley University yesterday. The 31-year-old co-founder of Turning Point USA was struck by a single bullet roughly 20 minutes after taking the stage for his American comeback tour. People around the world now mourning the loss of one of the driving forces behind the modern conservative movement. Joining me now is EPA Administrator Lee Zeldin. Lee, good morning. And we're all here remembering our friend Charlie. Your thoughts?
31 years young.
It's kind of crazy that they give him the voice of, they call him a political commentator because, I mean, it's better than activists, in my opinion. A lot of people who actually listened to what he was saying and what he was, standing for at these events that he would hold weren't just far right or far left views. They were a lot of what Asmongold and Tectone stand for. And I said this earlier in the stream, but for any of you new people that are here, he was voicing and giving his freedom of speech. And as an American, his freedom of speech got him killed.
A young, beautiful family. Charlie's someone I know very well for a long time. And while there was so much life still left to live, I would also say there was so much impact to be made still in front of him, yet I feel like somehow now his impact will multiply. There was so much to influence in the life that was ahead, yet I feel like that influence of what is in front of us as a nation will only grow following his assassination. Charlie was, as you've pointed out earlier on this broadcast, at an event where he was encouraging discourse and engagement, substantive thought and conversation with people who disagree with him. He wanted to challenge students on that campus yesterday to bring out the best of Charlie, to sharpen him, and Charlie.
He was the person that you would sit down with, and he would send you home thinking maybe my ideals are wrong. Because he would bring logic and reasoning into whatever topic he was given. He would have made a great president one day. I really do think that. Or a great senator. He had a good head on his shoulders, and he was there ready to wheel and deal no matter where he was at. It's just such a sad day.
To bring out
it really
the best
is.
Of those students, to engage and give those students something to think about, to ask questions that maybe those students hadn't yet asked, to find answers that those students haven't yet found. And that's something important to understand about Charlie. While this might have been the first stop of a fall tour, he's been doing this for years, and thousands of people would come out at a time. Thousands of people have been coming out for a long time. And as a real leader, these people were coming influenced by Charlie and wanting to hear his words. I think that there's an entire generation who were feeling an immeasurable impact. They were finding their own inspiration to get involved in government, regardless of what your political party was. People were getting more engaged in politics and government. People were caring because they saw Charlie's involvement and they were inspired by it. It's impossible truly to put into words all the emotions that we feel this morning. We're grieving with Charlie's family. The one thing that I could say for sure, and so many of us know for sure, is that Charlie's impact, it will live on for a long time and probably will only grow at this point.
Yesterday,
I feel like, given that today is 9/11, and given that a lot of stuff that's been happening over the past year since Trump's been in office have really kind of tested the boundaries of Americans in general, of what's right and wrong. And I think a lot of people are coming to terms with the fact that what's going on right now in America is just wrong. It's just wrong. There's nothing good about it. There's nothing to be proud of. And there's definitely no reason to call to violence for people who were just there to talk. He wasn't a political there to run for office. He wasn't trying to become the governor. He wasn't there to become a senator. He was just there to talk, to have people think about what's going on in the war in the U.S. That's all he was there for. He wanted to give you thoughts about what is happening and what your opinion might be the wrong one. Sure, it might be the right one. But he opened up your mind so that way you can accept more information and really ask yourself, is what you believe in true to even yourself?
Someone that you know well, and that we know well here, of course, and that's former Congressman Jason Chaffetz. He was there with his family at the event. He was on with Will Cain. I want to play you a part of what he told Will yesterday about the events that occurred.
He started to ask a question about, do you know, Charlie, how many, and I'm paraphrasing, how many people are killed in mass shootings by transgenders and people that are engaged in transgender? And as that dialogue started, one shot, I was watching Charlie. In this video that you're seeing, I'm kind of off to Charlie's right, up on that second balcony. And I could see Charlie immediately fall back into his left. And the crowd hit the ground and started screaming, and then people started running.
I mean, Lee, it hasn't even been 12 hours. It's still unimaginable what happened.
Yeah, those raw emotions that we watch in that clip with Jason Chaffetz, those emotions aren't going away anytime soon. And there were a lot of students who obviously were extraordinarily shocked by what they were witnessing. And there's been a lot of powerful witness testimony of people who were there. And one that I saw on Fox yesterday of a student who was there engaging with Charlie in the first question, just before that question, he was talking about how he agrees with Charlie on just about everything except religion. So when he comes to this event and he has an opportunity to engage with Charlie, he wasn't engaging on a topic, on one of the many, many topics that he would agree with Charlie on. He agreed with him for a long, he engaged with him on a long back and forth on religion, on the one topic that he disagreed with Charlie so strongly on. And that really goes to that challenge, that invitation that Charlie provides to not just people who follow him, but people who disagree with him. For those students who are there, I'm grateful that they're sharing their story of what their thoughts are, that they're not holding it. They're not holding it in. They're sharing it.
because what's happening is it's the same thing that happened with the Boston bombings and 9/11. America's coming together and doing what it does best in order to stop this from happening. Because no matter how many of these terrorists that we have running around on social media advocating for this style of violence, and no matter how many people you have advocating for the death of these political figures and these commentators, you're not going to stop the solid majority of the Americans' heart. You're not. All you're going to do is light up a really big gas fire. That's all you're doing. You're giving them a reason to put the bullets in the guns and fire back. It's metaphorical, not literal. I'm not calling to violence. I am saying, based on that, you're giving a lot of people and the President of the United States all the reason they need to start enforcing more laws and taking more rights away, because you guys can't seem to get y'all's medicine and stop doing this senseless death. It's just so stupid. It's such a it's such a waste of just life. It is. I don't think there's anything else that's new to this. Oh, wait a minute.
These are two of...
Hello. Ding, 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 ding. We got the fucker.
The photos that the FBI Salt Lake City just released. They say, we're asking for the public's help identifying this person of interest in connection with the fatal shooting.
He looks young.
Of Charlie Kirk at Utah Valley University. So the FBI just releasing moments ago.
Let's go!
Of who they're calling a person of interest in Charlie Kirk's murder. You can see both of those different angles of this person of interest right here. We were hearing initially that the person of interest they were looking for was wearing all black. And now we can see from these photos, this person of interest wearing a black hat, a baseball cap with their eyes shielded with dark sunglasses and dark attire right here. So they're asking for the public's help in identifying this person of interest. They're asking anyone to call 1-800-CALL-FBI. This as they continue their search for the person who assassinated Charlie Kirk yesterday as he was speaking at Utah Valley University. And we continue to get more information. This just in, though, as the FBI has released these two photos. And it does appear that these are
but he ain't that smart.
Photos of a person of interest in Charlie Kirk's murder. I also wanted to...
Got you, you son of a bitch. We got you. We got you.
To share this. This is just an additional post that they were sharing via the social media platform X, saying we are asking for the public's help identifying this person of interest in connection with the fatal shooting of Charlie Kirk at Utah Valley University. Now, earlier, we were also hearing additional information from Fox News indicating that sources are telling Fox News messages were found written on the gun and ammunition used in the assassination of Charlie Kirk. We were hearing from the FBI earlier this morning with additional information as they had retrieved and found a high-powered bolt action rifle, they say, was connected with the assassination of Charlie Kirk. I also wanted to share this live look with you. This is from the campus of the university right here. This is the scene where all of this unfolded yesterday. So new information today coming from the FBI is that a rifle was recovered in a wooded area where the shooter had fled.
So he actually took it with him. Oh, man.
FBI laboratory.
And he just dumped it there? Oh, this guy's getting found for sure. Oh, yeah. What an idiot.
Right now, analyzing that weapon. Investigators also collecting footwear impressions, a palm print, and forearm.
Oh, bro's cooked.
Imprints, and they're running that through analysis. The FBI says as of this hour, they have received more than 130 tips, and now they're asking for the public's help in finding the person of interest they say is connected with this case. Another look right here of these surveillance photos. As you can see, two different angles. So if you do know this person, you are asked to call the FBI at 1-800-CALL-FBI.
If he's still in the country,
now, the FBI did give an update that was about 12 minutes in length earlier today, and we're going to continue to monitor as they do share more information on perhaps an hourly basis, and we perhaps might be hearing a little bit more from them later on today. We're going to be bringing you all of these updates as they happen, as we are anticipating perhaps more information. We did want to share these surveillance photos with you, just coming from the FBI in Salt Lake City. This is the person of interest in Charlie Kirk's murder.
Damn, bro. Woo! Man. Oh, here we go. This talks about the rifle.
I want to bring in CNN national correspondent Nick Watt. He's joining us right now from Orem in Utah, and CNN senior justice correspondent Evan Perez, who's monitoring this investigation for us. Nick, let me start with you. What's the latest out there in Utah that we have learned about this killing?
Well, Wolf, we have just heard from officials that they had what they describe as breakthroughs during the night. This is coming from the special agent in charge from the FBI Salt Lake field office and from local officials here in Utah. So here is what we know. They are calling the suspect he, him. They're saying that this is a male, college age, who blended in well on campus.
He doesn't necessarily have to be college age. He could just look like a college person. I mean, if I shave my face, I look like a damn a high schooler. So
they do now have, which they didn't yesterday, they do now have a good image.
30 years old, by the way.
Of that suspect. And they are right now using technology to try and identify the person from that or those images. If they fail with that technology, they say they will release these images through the media to the public. The FBI says they've had about 130 tips, Wolf, and they are asking for more. Any eyewitness accounts, any images, still or video, they want them. Now, we also got a little bit of a timeline. They say that they have now tracked the suspect's movements on campus.
Oh,
he arrived
yeah,
on
there
campus,
it is.
11:52. As I said, blended in with the college crowd is what they say this person looks like. Went up a stairwell, onto the roof, after the incident, jumped off the building. Unclear how that happened, but jumped off the building and then fled off campus through a residential neighborhood. So
I guess my vertical stream's kind of crap in the bed, huh, boys? Just so you are aware, I'm going to be clipping out all these videos. I'm going to be uploading them all. They'll be all up by 8 tonight or 9. They're going to be released like every 30 minutes, the entire stream. We will be streaming tomorrow, but probably after this video, I'm going to have to hop off. I have a Discord. Hit that link up. You guys can drop any information y'all know about this, any videos y'all found online, anything y'all want me to react to. It's all in the Discord. Stick around. We cover this Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to noon. Yeah. We cover all the new stuff, all the crazy stuff. We don't really get too much into political, but I saw Charlie Kirk had been assassinated, and I was like, nah, we're going to talk about this. We're going to talk about this
During
right
the
now.
night, investigators were speaking to people in that neighborhood, looking for eyewitness accounts, looking for video from doorbell cameras, etc. They also, in a wooded area, have recovered what they believe is the weapon that was used to kill Charlie Kirk. They describe it as a high-powered bolt-action rifle, and right now they say they are working on trying to trace the ownership of that weapon. Now, they say that the suspect is not still in that wooded area. They have swept and secured that area, but they say they do not know how far he has gone. And of course, with every hour, that is more time for this suspect to get further, possibly away from the scene of the crime. Now, they do stress, though, that they do not believe that the public here is in danger. They say that this was a targeted incident, so they are not concerned right now for the safety of the public. They say that they also have a foot imprint and the imprint left by a palm and a forearm. That is what they're working with. The FBI say they are determined to find this suspect and also find out why he did it. Now, there are still some unanswered questions. Was there a vehicle involved? Was the rifle on campus already, or was the suspect blending in with a long gun? Unclear how that would happen. We also heard that Charlie Kirk's body will be taken home to Arizona today. Back to you.
All right, thank you so much. I want to go to Evan Perez now, who has some new reporting.
Well, yeah, so Nick was just describing some of the scene there and what was recovered by investigators. And we have a couple of bits of more information about what they found. Now, Nick described that they found the bolt-action rifle near that building, not far from that building. It appears, investigators believe, that the suspect ran away from the scene, threw the rifle down. It was there was a towel there. And they also found a screwdriver, which they believe indicates that perhaps the suspect used it to disassemble, take the stock off the rifle to try to conceal it. Right? That is a very common thing. We've seen this done in other instances. For instance, the shooter in Butler, the one who shot at President Trump, tried to assassinate President Trump. It's very common, and so it is possible that this person used that to try to disassemble and then put it together when he was on the roof. Again, this is a working theory of the investigators. They also found the ammunition. They found the firearm. They found some ammunition inside the rifle and also nearby, which had some writings and made various references to cultural issues, right? And we don't know what they mean. The investigators don't know what they mean. They found some initials written on some of the ammunition, some of the parts of the rifle. And again, they don't know whether this is a motive, whether this refers to the reason why this was done. But again, they spent the night looking at those initials, trying to match it to other pieces of evidence, social media accounts online, to try to see if they can try to decipher whether this is the person who did this or whether this was a reference to something else. Again, there's a lot of evidence that they're still going through at this point, but certainly the biggest piece is the rifle. They have the images, the very rough images that they found, obviously from some of the video. They are begging, obviously, for the public to send images because...
Yeah, it's kind of crazy how this has spiraled out of control. I really thought that they didn't have anything on this guy, but he cooked himself, I guess. Cooked himself.
That is one of the ways they're going to be able to refine and figure out who might have done this, right? They're obviously the Ring videos and doorbell cameras are ubiquitous. So whatever movements he made, they are canvassing that entire neighborhood to try to track.
Yeah, they did the same thing with the Boston bombings. Exact same thing. Okay, well, I think I'm going to roll up out of here. I got a lot of editing to do, and some of these videos are not going to be short. So I have to start getting this. I'm already like a little bit past due. Like I said, sub to the channel. We will be here Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to noon. Tomorrow we'll be back on. We'll probably be talking about this again. We probably won't go as in-depth because like we're still learning everything. I'm looking forward to getting on tomorrow with the knowing that they caught this fucker, honestly. We'll have all the videos for that. Hopefully we'll even have a motive tomorrow. Stick around. I might do a video. Who knows? It depends on how busy I am because it's going to take a while to edit out. We did a lot of videos today, but I'm going to roll up out of here, boys. I got lots to do. Stay safe out there. And don't do anything too crazy, huh? And definitely don't go out and hurt anybody. It ain't worth it.